when the cycle of reincarnation invades. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1. I want to become a reincarnator. Abin. Your test results this time are not ideal. Beishu City. Hengyang High School, office. The graceful and beautiful young woman threw the test paper in her hand on the table with a slight helplessness in her eyes. She said, "You scored more than 600 points in the last mock test. I thought you had room for further improvement, so I specially gave you 2 months of special training. But you cut my score in half in this mock test. What? Do you think that, if you don't score so low, you can't prove that I, your teacher, am incompetent? Teacher Bei, I really tried my best." Linbin's attitude of admitting his mistakes was very sincere. With his handsome face, his dark eyes were innocent, which looked very credible. After all, he didn't lie. Linbin was once a top student, until he was slapped hard by reality. After 10 years of social struggles and hardships, the little he learned was buried with his teacher. Now he is reborn as a human being, and returns to the senior year of high school. 600 points. He couldn't even solve a quadratic equation now. He got 300 points, because of the hard work of Teacher Bei in the past 2 months. Try your best. Well, don't tell me that. Go tell the examiner in the company that will recruit you in the future. See if they will give you a chance. Actually, Teacher Bei, I don't plan to take the college entrance examination anymore. Facing the teacher's earnest advice, Linbin looked guilty and said seriously, "I want to try and see if I can become a reincarnation." Teacher Bei was stunned and looked at the student in front of her, whom she had always been optimistic about. Her delicate eyebrows were tightly wrinkled. She asked, "Abin, are you serious?" Linbin nodded and said, "Yes." Teacher Bei carefully considered his words and said, "All students will choose liberal arts or martial arts when they are promoted to the first year of high school, and only those martial arts students who have undergone 3 years of training and have excellent results are eligible to apply for the reincarnation. You are a liberal arts student, so you have nothing to do with reincarnation, right?" Linbin said, "So I want to apply to you for a transfer to another department. 3rd year of high school, transfer? Linbin, do you know what you are saying?" Teacher Bei slammed the table and stood up, and suddenly there was a surge of emotions. "Do you think you are choosing a gift like a child? If you don't like it, you can change it. Now that you fail the college entrance examination, at most your starting point will be a few steps lower than others, but if you transfer to become a reincarnation, you will lose your life. You can't grasp the dangers in the secret realm at all." After she finished speaking in a hurried tone, she realized that she was too emotional. He took a deep breath, softened his tone, and asked, "Abin, do you know what the secret realm represents?" Linbin answered, as if he was reading from a script. "The secret realm is a broken fragment of the world that overlaps with our Yuanxing at the same coordinates in different dimensions and is interconnected. After these world fragments overlap with the main world and are left unattended for a long time, they will completely merge with the main world like melting snowflakes. In order to prevent these secret realms from merging into our world, we must enter the secret realm to curb their expansion. This is why the reincarnationists were born." He paused and continued, "And because those worlds have retained their unique civilization characteristics, there are many ways to enhance individual strength. So while curbing these secret realms, our Yuanxing has also obtained a large number of strengthening systems, which has allowed the reincarnationists to switch from high-risk professions to high-reward professions, attracting a large number of elites to actively apply to become reincarnationists, which can be regarded as an unexpected surprise. It seems that you have done your homework seriously, but that is just homework, just reading out the book. In fact, each secret realm once represented a complete world. The part that can be preserved must be the most dangerous part of it. The crisis inside is beyond your imagination." The teacher sighed and said, "Now that things have come to this, the teacher will not hide it from you. In fact, I'm not from Yuanxing. The secret realm I am in was merged with Yuanxing because it was not contained in time. Fortunately, that secret realm is just an ordinary white secret realm, so I was not liquidated by Yuanxing. but was able to serve as a teacher here as an ordinary person. She smiled bitterly and said, "Do you know how terrible things I have experienced before? It's just an ordinary white secret realm, but, teacher, I don't want you to become a reincarnation, because I have experienced it deeply and know how terrible the secret realm is. But reincarnationists make money quickly, right?" Linbin said, "I heard that 1 point of reincarnation can be exchanged for 3,000 yuan in cash, and as long as you can complete the task, earning hundreds of reincarnation points is like playing. As long as you can become a reincarnation, you won't have to worry about money." Teacher Bay scolded, "You have high aspirations but low skills. It's easy to say, but when you really experience it, you will know how difficult it is." Linbin smiled bitterly and said, "But in my current situation, I either become a reincarnationist or drop out of school to work. There is no third way. You know, I need to leave this city to go to college, but I can't leave now." Teacher Bay was silent for a while, and her eyes softened when she looked at Linbin. She said softly, "Okay, I will try to help you apply, but I'm not sure if it will pass." "Thank you, Teacher Bay." Linbin bowed to Teacher Bay seriously and apologized. "I'm sorry to have failed you and disappointed you." He knew that Teacher Bay, as the head teacher of the liberal arts department, had always had great expectations for him. Even at this critical moment, when the college entrance examination was about to begin, she had spent 2 months helping him sharpen his gun alone, but he proposed to become a reincarnationist at this time. This was undoubtedly a stab in the back, but he still wanted her to help him transfer to another department. "Isn't this a beast? Why are you bowing? I'm not dead yet, and you've caused me so much loss. Can a bow compensate for that?" Teacher Bay sighed and said, "To be honest, if I had known this day would come, maybe I should have recommended you to join the military department when you were in the first year of high school. That way, you could at least lay some foundation and have a better chance of survival. Maybe I was blinded by lard at that time." Linbin could only helplessly take the blame for his predecessor. After all, he had only been in this world for a few months. Although he inherited all the memories and emotions of the original owner, he naturally couldn't know the reasons that the original owner himself couldn't remember. But when Linbin discovered that there were actually reincarnations in this world, and some of the secret realms for the reincarnations to experience actually overlapped with some movies, novels, and even animations in Linbin's previous life. Isn't this equivalent to him having the advantage of foresight in many of these secret realms? Even if these secret realms have been messed up by those reincarnations and may no longer be used as reference. But with his understanding of those plot characters, he felt that there was still a lot of room for improvement. Therefore, for Linbin, who was in urgent need of money, becoming a reincarnation seemed to be his only choice and the best choice to make the most money in the shortest time, whether in public or private. After reaching a consensus with Teacher Bay, Linbin did not return to his class, but left school directly. He went to the vegetable market first, bought a pound of corn bones, half a pound of noodles, and took half a cabbage from the vegetable special area. Carrying vegetables, he walked through 2 busy blocks and entered at the corner of the second street. It was only 1 street away, but the surrounding buildings began to look much older. From the previous towering buildings to dilapidated 2- and 3-story old buildings, the cement road surface was crushed and uneven, and the garbage cans on both sides of the road had already overflowed, and the surroundings were full of the sour smell of garbage. Although Linbin's parents died early, they finally left him a 2-story detached house, so that he would not have to sleep on the streets. He could also rent out the second floor as his source of income. Back home, the first floor has a large courtyard of 100 square meters, and the layout of 4 bedrooms and 2 living rooms is very spacious. Linbin first went to the kitchen to blanch the ribs in cold water to remove the blood, and then put them in a large pot with ginger. After cleaning them, put enough water, and then covered the pot. After doing everything, Linbin pushed the door through the living room, and entered the master bedroom. The master bedroom is a bedroom of more than 40 square meters. The floor is clean and spotless. The desk that was originally by the window was moved to the corner, and a 2-meter bed was pushed to the window, just to leave enough space to bathe in better sunlight. Since the new urban area was built, these low old buildings can only get a little warmth from the gaps between the buildings at certain times. Many times, this ray of sunlight gives people hope for the day. At this time, in the place where the ray of sunlight shines, a beautiful woman in her early 20s was sitting quietly in a wheelchair with an indifferent expression, and no one knew what she was thinking. The sound of opening the door was heard. She turned around and saw Linbin, smiled slightly, and said, "Why are you back so early today? Don't you have to make up lessons?" Teacher Bay said, "That I'm too good. I have successfully squeezed her dry in just 2 months. She has nothing to teach me anymore." Linbin replied jokingly, saying, "Sorry, I had something to deal with at noon and couldn't make it back in time. It's okay, I have already solved my lunch." She complained, "Don't treat me like a waste. Although my legs can't walk, my hands are still fine. There is no problem with normal meals." Linbin smiled and said, yes, I won't do it next time." The girl's name is Linzu. She is Linbin's sister. In a riot in a secret realm 2 years ago, a family of 4 who were traveling together were affected, and their parents died on the spot. Linzu was also seriously injured and dying. Although she was rescued in the end, her legs also lost consciousness. For her illness, Linbin spent all the compensation for the death of his parents, but the conclusions he got were the same without exception. The injuries on her legs were caused by the erosion of pollutants in the secret realm, which is difficult to heal with the existing technology. Linbin wanted to become a reincarnator, and he also wanted to use the secret realm to heal her illness. Inheriting all the memories of his previous life, coupled with the emphasis on family affection before crossing, he had already regarded the disabled girl in front of him as his only relative. He talked with her for a while. When the rich aroma of ribs began to linger in the noses of the two people, Linbin got up and went to the kitchen to work, simply stir-frying 2 very small portions of vegetarian dishes and a bowl of mincemeat and rib soup was the lunch for the siblings. Not long after eating, Linzu felt sleepy and rested. She said it was easy, but after losing her legs, she had to spend several times more energy than ordinary people to do anything, and she was already tired after a day. She simply cleaned up the housework. It was already past 9 o'clock when she finished. Although she was very tired, Linbin did not go to bed as usual, but went to the 2nd floor through the stairs in the yard. Knock on the door. A moment later, a young woman wearing only a one-piece pajamas opened the door. She seemed to have just woken up. Her face was still hazy and sleepy. Her long hair with some natural curls was extremely messy. She was yawning lazily, and a small teardrop mole at the corner of her slightly squinted eyes was particularly eye-catching, adding 3 points of charm to her. Seeing Linbin, her eyes lit up and smiled. "Little brother, have you finally figured it out?" Linbin said seriously, "Miss Zhu, I have little education. Don't lie to me. Can I become a reincarnationist as long as I not?" Chapter 2. On the pirate ship by mistaken accident? Of course not. Chinese people don't cheat Chinese people. Zukan laughed and said, "Come on, little brother, let's go in and talk." Linbin followed her into the residence. The 2nd floor was exactly the same as the 1st floor. The living room was very large, but it was much messier than the 1st floor. There were takeaway boxes and leftover instant noodle boxes everywhere. Although she lived alone, she made the 200 square meters look messy. Zukan sat on the sofa with a smile and asked, "Have you decided?" "I've decided, but I'm still a little confused." Linbin asked, "I've asked my classmates in the military department, and they said that in order to become a reincarnationist, one needs to go through 3 years of training and complete extremely strict assessments, and also have to undergo political review for 3 generations, with a very low pass rate. In fact, after I successfully applied to transfer to another department, I was already prepared to fail the assessment this year and be held back. But you said that, as long as I agree, I can become a reincarnationist. The high difficulty is for ordinary people. It's different for us. I belong to the World Supervisory Bureau and have privileges. As long as you agree, I can take you to go through the reincarnationist entry procedures tomorrow morning." Zukan crossed her long beautiful legs, her raised toes swaying against her slippers, with a look of confidence on her face. "Then why is it me who gets such a good thing?" Linbin asked. "I'm a pragmatic person and never believe in pie in the sky. Can you give me a reason?" "Sure." Zukan said. "Do you remember the essay competition held by your school last month?" Linbin asked. "What if I could travel through time?" Yes, I remember that you won the first prize for this essay. Linbin smiled bitterly and said, I just wanted the 5,000 yuan prize. But you wrote it very well, and it perfectly hit the G-spot of those people from other worlds. Zukan recited, what does it mean to travel through time to another world? Is it to start a new chapter? Or a restarted life? Or a new unknown challenge? To me, it's none of them. To me, traveling through time is death, loss, and the loneliness of never being able to see my relatives again after leaving my hometown. If I have a child, my child will lose his father because of my travel through time. If I have a wife, my wife will lose her husband because of my travel through time. I'm still alive, but I'm dead in their world. She read a long paragraph and praised, it's a very good article, especially the theory of 3 deaths in life, which is really recognized by those aliens. They generally think that your writing is not good, but your feelings are extremely deep. Linbin was silent. Of course there are feelings. Because he really has children and he really has a wife. He asked, what does this have to do with becoming a reincarnationist? The difficulties and standards you mentioned before are actually things that can be obtained through training. They are not important. The most important thing is the mentality and our World Detection Bureau. Linbin, isn't it the World Supervision Bureau? As for the external statements, we certainly don't mention it much internally, so I don't remember it clearly. Ha 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 ha. Zukan laughed and said, we are mainly interested in your writing, because a department is too important and only reincarnationists can join, but the nature of our work means that we need a civilian. But the serious reincarnationists look down on our positions, so we can only train one ourselves. So you, who have the best writing skills, have entered our site. Don't worry, the treatment is the same as that of formal reincarnations, and there are all the benefits and subsidies that should be there. It sounds reasonable. But I always feel that there is something wrong. But Linbin naturally has his support. He took out his mobile phone, turned on the recording function, and said seriously, I can promise you, but let me be frank. Miss Zukan, you once promised me that, if you can't help me become a reincarnationist, then the 26,800 yuan rent you paid in advance, together with the 2,680 yuan deposit, will be used to compensate Mr. Linbin, right? Zukan. After a long while, she said with a smile, okay, I promise you, if I can't make you a reincarnationist, then the 28,480 yuan I paid in advance will be used to compensate Mr. Linbin. It should be 29,480 yuan. Linbin thought to himself, don't bully me for only getting 300 points in the exam. Solving a linear equation with 2 variables is a bit difficult, but it's no problem to settle the accounts. So you promised? Yes. In this way, even if I was cheated, the money has been really put into my account, and there is a recording as evidence. I'm already invincible. Zukan smiled and said, okay, tomorrow morning, I'll take you to go through the entry procedures. Linbin asked, can I ask about the specific salary? Zukan replied, the basic salary is 10,000 yuan, and we will give you a subsidy of 200 yuan for each review we write. If you help us write the copy, we can transfer this subsidy to you and guarantee that your monthly salary will exceed 20,000 yuan. Write at least 50 reports a month. Linbin was a little surprised. The workload is a bit heavy, but such a good salary. If you think it will be easy, you are too optimistic, right? I thought you were past such a naive age. Zukan laughed strangely. That's true. Linbin nodded, which was considered a deal with her. The next morning, helped Lenzu make breakfast and heated up lunch in the pot. When Linbin left, Zukan had been waiting for a long time. Today, she was no longer as sloppy and casual as she was yesterday. She was wearing a black leather windbreaker with a black cotton vest underneath, revealing a piece of white skin on her chest. The black was mysterious and the white was dazzling. She was wearing black stockings and long black boots, looking like a queen. Let's go. I'll go with you to handle the formalities first. Zukan took Linbin to a red sports car and drove out in a flash. Half an hour later, the sports car stopped at the most valuable land in the city center. There was a vast square at the entrance, which was neatly paved with stone slabs. There were emerald green flower belts on the edge, dotted with slightly pink flowers. Follow me. Zukan parked the car and led Lin Bin to the innermost building. The building was quite old, only 7 or 8 stories high. It was connected to the 2 new buildings on the east and west sides in a concave shape. In front of the concave shape, there was a round flower bed, which made the 3 buildings connected as a whole. It looked particularly solemn and serious. From the external senses, it's perfect. Lin Bin nodded with satisfaction. But as Zukan pushed open the door, a deafening call came over him, making his ears ring. The huge hall was empty. Inside, there was a strong man in a vest with muscles as flexed as tree roots, shouting and lifting weights. Accompanied by the explosive and exciting music, the man was sweating profusely, and the strong smell of male hormones sprayed on his face, making Lin Bin instinctively take 2 steps back, almost thinking that he had walked into the wrong place. "Let's go, little brother. This is the front desk of our department. Don't pay attention to him," Zukan called out, and took Lin Bin to the elevator. Lin Bin was a little stunned. "Front receptionist? That's why I said that it's hard to recruit people in our department. Talent is too scarce. Either he or I can be the receptionist. Who do you choose?" Lin Bin looked Zukan up and down and said, "Of course I choose you. But the problem is that the choice is in my hands." Zukan took Lin Bin into the elevator and sat on the top floor of the 7th floor. She walked all the way to the innermost office. She sat down behind the 2-meter long desk, took out a form from the drawer, and said, "Little brother, fill out this form, and you will be mine." Lin Bin nodded. He took the form, filled in personal information, signed, and pressed his fingerprint. Although he had just been hit by a wave, he didn't hesitate at all. At least he still had 29,480 as a base. Zukan took the form handed over by Lin Bin with satisfaction, flipped around for a while, and finally found a seal under a pile of messy documents, and stamped it with a breath. She smiled and said, "Congratulations, little brother. You have officially become a member of the World Debris Early Warning and Detection Bureau." Lin Bin asked, "Is this the full name of our department?" Zukan smiled and said, "Yes, the World Debris Early Warning and Detection Bureau. Do you know why I said it wrong yesterday? The name is really long and ugly, but our power is also very great. Let me put it this way, all the secret realms entered by the reincarnations are actually the ones we have left over," she said proudly, "because they can only taste all the secret realms after we have tasted them, and they can only enter after we have entered them. Including the level of the secret realm is also customized by us. Isn't it amazing?" Lin Bin, But although we always win the first place, the most important thing for our World Pre-Disaster Bureau is not to clear the secret realm, but to judge whether these secret realms are friendly or not, whether our Yuanxing needs to accept or destroy them. Well, no one wants the secret realm to appear, but since it appears, we need to respond, and this requires us to not wear tinted glasses and look at it from an objective perspective. And through your previous article, it proves that your mentality is very suitable for our place, which is also an important reason why we chose you. Do you understand, little brother? Lin Bin, I think I understand. Lin Bin looked weird. Listening to Zukan's explanation of the main responsibilities of the World Fragment Early Disaster Alarm Detection Bureau, he suddenly understood why they wanted to recruit him, a newbie with no foundation. Any student with a little foundation would not be interested in this reincarnation organization, right? You know, when a new secret realm appears, because the environment inside is not understood, if the reincarnation rashly enters, it is easy to cause casualties. So someone needs to enter the secret realm to evaluate the environment and level inside the secret realm. It's called a pioneering evaluation. To put it bluntly, isn't this a guinea pig? Seeing Lin Bin's strange expression, Zukan seemed a little embarrassed. She laughed and said, "Don't worry, you are just a newbie. As long as you maintain the minimum reincarnation needs, you can just follow us to go through the motions. Your main job is to help us write copy and do reviews. To be honest, those who can be expelled to this department, those who can be transferred to this department are not well educated. They are good at fighting and killing, but they are really not good at writing. But we have to write those reviews." I agree. Thinking of the strong man with male hormones just now, Lin Bin really couldn't imagine what he looked like holding a pen. Lin Bin asked, "When do I go to work?" I will send your personal file later, and you will get your reincarnation table in the afternoon. At that time, I will send someone to take you to familiarize yourself with your workplace. Don't worry, working here will not delay you from going back to cook for your sister at noon. Thank you. Lin Bin nodded. I'll contact someone to take you to familiarize yourself with the environment. Zukan picked up the landline next to her and made several calls in succession, but no one answered. She smiled awkwardly and said, look, our management system is so rigid. There are so many people who are late. It's okay for you to take your work home. No, in fact, we encourage you to take your work home. Lin Bin nodded, feeling that she said that because she wanted him to go home and she could skip work in the name of supervising him. Zukan made 7 or 8 calls before finally finding someone who could be used. After a while, a young man in his 20s with a listless face and dark eyes, who seemed to have lived in an internet cafe for half a year, walked in. He was holding a half-eaten pancake in his hand. After listening to Zukan's request, he glanced at Lin Bin with a strange look and motioned for him to follow him. Lin Bin followed him obediently. In the huge office, only Zukan was left. Zukan kept crossing her legs and watched Lin Bin walk away until his back disappeared. The bright smile on her face slowly disappeared, revealing a very serious state of contemplation. After hesitating for a moment, she said, I feel, will we hurt someone by mistake? New book, new atmosphere. Please recommend, read, collect and everything else you can ask for. Chapter 3, Secret Land Reclamation. Maybe his acting skills are amazing. Suddenly, a second person's voice was heard in the empty room. The clear and deep male voice reminded people of a profession like a broadcaster. Obviously, the monitor was on the whole time. He said, it's like before, we suspected Lin Zhu, Su Minimum, Lu Lin Lin, but it seems that we never set our target on Lin Bin. But in fact, he is also a survivor of the accident, and he is also one of the suspects. Why didn't we suspect him? Don't you think this is a suspicious point? Zukan hesitated and said, but isn't it a bit stupid for him to be exposed? He hid so well before, but suddenly his nature changed drastically? A deep male voice asked, do you think he is not? I have also asked him questions in this regard, and I'm more inclined to his own answer. He had a dream, grew up in the dream, and grew up in reality. The male voice suddenly became stern. Didn't I warn you not to alert the enemy? Zukan said softly, but there must be a reason for the change. If he is really the person we want to arrest, then he must have been our target in the past 3 years. Then who is he with a changed temperament now? Or is he actually Lin Bin himself? During this time, Zukan almost watched how Lin Bin took care of his sister. For her, he gave up the college entrance examination, which was a sure thing. He even deliberately got a poor score of more than 300 points with excellent grades, in order to avoid taking the college entrance examination. Dropped out of school, changed his department, and planned to apply for the reincarnation. This was an almost crazy move. If she hadn't extended an olive branch in time, it would be almost impossible for him, a person with no foundation, to become a reincarnation. In the future, he was destined to be a waiter and some labor selling jobs. It was obviously a sacrifice of his life, but he did it so naturally that people couldn't even see that he had any sense of sacrifice. He must have hidden his pain in his heart, not letting others see his pain, and only licked his inner wounds alone in the middle of the night. Zukan was originally a woman, and every time she thought of it, she was naturally deeply touched. The male voice said, whether it is or not, once he enters the reincarnation space, his true colors will naturally be revealed. Since he has the intention to become a reincarnation, it saves us the trouble. That's right, he has walked into the trap. Zukan said softly. Zukan said that he could skip work and go home to cook at noon. But Lin Bin didn't go back, not because he was very dedicated, but because he couldn't let go of work the day before, and felt that it was not good to be late and leave early. Of course, the main purpose was to wait for the reincarnation table that would be in place in the afternoon. The reincarnation table is the most advanced technology among the countries on Yuanxing, combined with some mysterious gains obtained in the secret realm, and thus the scientific crystallization of joint research. When Lin Bin finally got the reincarnation table, put on the watch, automatically take blood and bind. Then the mobile phone that has already bound personal information directly push the Reincarnation Space app, download it, and log in with the ID number. A series of operations are undoubtedly more reasonable and real than the sentence I knew in my previous life. Do you want to understand the meaning of life? Do you want to live truly? It is said that after entering the secret realm, this reincarnation table can be more synchronized with the secret realm, so as to detect how to effectively curb the expansion of the secret realm. In layman's terms, it is the task that the reincarnator needs to complete, and the subsequent rewards are also carried out through this reincarnation table. After registering, first give yourself a reincarnation name that won't let people find your real name. Just as Lin Bin was clumsily struggling, Zukan appeared behind him and reminded him, after all, if you enter the secret realm and provoke any enemies in the future, he won't be able to find you in reality. The moment you become a reincarnator, all your personal information is encrypted in the world of ordinary people. The only clue for ordinary people to find you is your name, so you must hide it. Lin Bin asked, then what is your reincarnation name, Miss Zhu? Zukan replied, Little Milk Cat. Lin Bin looked up at her in surprise. Zukan shamelessly said, I know I look too charming, but who doesn't have a pure girl's dream? Is there a problem? No. Lin Bin thought about it and named his ID. Reincarnator, Abin. Level, Apprentice Merit. 0 weapon, none. Enhancement, none. Skill, none. A completely blank character panel. Zukan said helplessly, your name is useless. Lin Bin and Abin can't be hidden from those who are interested. Lin Bin said, if someone is really interested, my name is How Long Teo, and others can find me anyway. Zukan nodded and said, that's true, but who is this How Long Teo? Don't get to know him, otherwise you will be in trouble. Lin Bin pointed to the time on his reincarnation watch and asked, also, what's the countdown of 63.02.55 on this watch? Oh, this. Zukan's eyes wandered and said, this is telling you that your final deadline, before 63 hours, 2 minutes and 55 seconds, you must enter the secret realm for training. Lin Bin asked curiously, what? Zukan, it's normal. After all, after becoming a reincarnationist, you can get a lot of subsidies and salaries, even if you do nothing. So in order to prevent those who become reincarnationists from eating corpses and becoming termites that suck the blood of the country, there will be a final time limit according to the level of the reincarnationist. Before this time limit, you must be forced to enter the reincarnation space to complete the task. Because the higher the level, the more dangerous the secret realm is, and the more time we have to prepare. But in the early stages, because the danger is limited, you can enter more frequently. You must enter once every 2 months. Lin Bin speechlessly said, I originally wanted to become a reincarnationist, but you gave me a clerical job. I want to write a report now, and you tell me I have to take a walk in the secret realm, and isn't it 2 months? Why do I only have 3 days? Zukan smiled and said, because all reincarnationists need to be led by an old reincarnationist when they first enter the secret realm, so your time will be synchronized with your captain. This is also for your safety. Don't worry, Lei Jun is still very reliable. If nothing unexpected happens, everything is just a formality. She patted Lin Bin's shoulder and said, it's inevitable for a newcomer to be nervous for the first time, but don't forget that you have a big leg to cling to this time. Come on, I'll take you to find Lei Jun and build up your relationship with him first. Then he will naturally take good care of you. Lin Bin asked, how do you enter the secret realm? Is it by body or soul? You don't think that when the time comes, the body will just disappear and enter the secret realm, right? Zukan laughed and said, maybe this function will be developed in the future, but the secret realm is formed by the overlap of 2 worlds at a certain point, so we must enter from that spatial anomaly. I heard that the Research Institute has long begun to study the method of consciousness transmission, but it has only been used for so many years. However, this method is also good. You must know that the secret realm not only represents danger, but also represents opportunity. Now it belongs to whoever's territory it appears in, and there is no need to nag those damn neighbors. I understand. Lin Bin nodded, knowing what Zukan meant. Don't worry, after you leave, I will take care of your sister. Thank you, Miss Zhu. Lin Bin nodded. Go home after get off work. That day, Lin Bin had already started to prepare a change of clothes in advance, and the large suitcase that had not been used for several years was also moved out. Business trip? Lin Zhu was sitting in a wheelchair, curiously looking at Lin Bin, who was squatting in her room packing things, and asked, aren't you going to prepare for the college entrance examination? Well, no, I found a job with a high salary. The monthly salary is as high as 20,000. Lin Bin laughed and said, I'm thinking about doing it first. If it's not suitable, I will apply for re-examination next year. It happens that I don't have much confidence this year. Why not try it, if there is a chance? Just consider it as making extra money. What is it? Lin Bin said the excuse he had thought of a long time ago, and said, I help people repair cables. I have to go wherever it is broken to repair it. So I may have to go on business trips for a few days every once in a while in the future. As for normal work, I just write copywriting or something. You know, I'm best at writing. Lin Zhu worriedly said, isn't it dangerous to climb up and down all day long? There are risks for sure, but the possibility of accidents is very low. Don't worry, I'm a pity for my life. Lin Bin pressed down the full box with force, raised his head to look at Lin Zhu, and pretended to be stern and scolded. You don't look down on this job, do you? Comrade Lin Zhu, this is an old traditional concept. Now the country is vigorously supporting blue-collar workers. The old idea that sitting in the office is promising should be criticized. Lin Zhu worriedly said, you are good at talking, but I can't argue with you. I just think it's a little dangerous. What is not dangerous? Even if I walk on the road, I may be crushed to death by a rock falling from the sky. Have you forgotten how your parents walk? Lin Bin smiled slightly and said, don't worry, I'm sure. But this job was introduced to me by Miss Zhu. She has promised me that she will deliver some meals to you every day. Don't worry, I will be back soon. Lin Bin smiled and said, by the way, I haven't told you yet. There is a very large square in front of where I work. The environment is very good and the sun is very warm. When I finish this trip, I can push you over to work and let you bask in the sun there. Okay, I'll go outside to pack my luggage first. As he said that, he pushed the door and went to his room. Lin Zhu was left alone with a complicated expression, hesitant to speak. In the end, there was only a faint sigh, and the reincarnation application form in the palm of his hand that was turned out from the trash can had already been wrinkled into a ball. 3 days later, Lin Bin took his luggage and got on the special car to the destination with Lei Jun. Don't worry, little brother Lin. Oh, by the way, if you enter the secret realm, you only need to call your reincarnation name, Abin, right? Lei Jun and Lin Bin sat side by side on the double seat. Lei Jun's sturdy and strong body squeezed Lin Bin to sit in a corner, but he was unaware of it. He patted Lin Bin's shoulder enthusiastically and said with a smile, don't worry, Sister Khan has specifically instructed me to take good care of you. Besides, the secret realm we are going to this time is just ordinary in strength, based on the intensity of space fluctuations. It's a piece of cake. Lin Bin smiled and said, I feel relieved with what Brother Lei said. Indeed, it was heard that the Lei Jun in front of him was a reincarnation of extraordinary level, basically a senior level. Fighting in an ordinary secret realm, that's just like a high level player going to a low level dungeon, like playing. 10 hours later, the special car arrived at the destination, a densely populated town. The two got off. Lin Bin asked curiously, the entrance to the secret realm is in the town. That's right. So if the secret realm is a red secret realm, and it expands to materialization, the consequences will be serious, because this town has more than 100,000 people, and it is difficult to accommodate them, and what we need to do is to determine the level and type of this secret realm, and complete the task, to curb its expansion a little, and lay the foundation for subsequent reincarnations. Arrived at the destination, Lei Jun put away his cheerful demeanor, and looked much more solemn. He said, the reincarnation table has an activation setting. Clicking on the activation can generate a magnetic field in our body that overlaps with the spatial fluctuations of this secret realm, so that we can enter this secret realm. Lin Bin followed Lei Jun's instructions, and clicked on the reincarnation table. As the reincarnation table was activated, the bustling neighborhood in front of his eyes changed. There were still people coming and going around, but in the center of the bustling street, there was a dark crack, like a dilapidated gap, embedded in the air. And all around, people were coming and going in an endless stream. Some people who passed through the crack seemed to be into completely different worlds, just passing through directly. "Let's go," Lei Jun said. "Yes," Lin Bin responded, and the two of them walked towards the dark crack together. Chapter 4. This is just an ordinary secret place. As they stepped into the crack, their vision suddenly became dark and bizarre. But under their feet, they could clearly see a pitch black passage. Lin Bin followed closely behind Lei Jun. The two walked along the pitch black passage for more than half an hour, and the strange colors around them gradually returned to the colors that the eyes could recognize. Under their feet, the ankles that were not protected by the Hansing sports shoes felt slightly itchy. When everything returned to normal, the two had come to a flat grass, and behind them, they could still see two different footprints, one deep and one shallow. It looked as if they had come here in a normal way. "Don't be too nervous, this is just an ordinary secret realm." Looking at Lin Bin's alert look behind him, Lei Jun laughed and comforted him. According to the energy intensity detected in space, the humans in this world do not have a very strong cultivation system. That is to say, the humans in this world may be about the same strength as those in our main world. I'm almost equivalent to a Superman in this world. With me here, what are you afraid of? Lin Bin nodded, his expression relaxed a lot. Lei Jun chose a direction and said, "Come with me, we have to find human habitation first, so that the reincarnation table can read enough information in this world, and then we can receive the mission." Lin Bin asked curiously, "But I heard from Miss Zhu before that missions are not important to us." "The mission is not unimportant, but it is placed in a secondary position. But it's like 100 yuan and 80 yuan. If you can choose both, do you want them?" Lei Jun laughed and said, "This is also the preferential treatment of our World Inspection Bureau. We undertake the riskiest work, so our treatment is also the highest. Our goal is to explore the rules of this world in the kindness and malice towards the local world. After completing it, we can get a generous income. But if under this premise, we still have the energy to complete the secret realm mission, then we can naturally get the corresponding reward for completing the mission." Lin Bin asked, "Is it just like eating double experience in the game?" This is a good summary, I like it. Lei Jun smiled and said, "Isn't this secret realm the same as the dungeon in the game? Except for the lack of reset CD, everything else is exactly the same. We are pioneers, and our task is not to be the first to pass it, but to know the rules and strength of this dungeon. Then how do you distinguish between the red secret realm and the white secret realm? It's very simple, just follow your heart." Lei Jun knew that Lin Bin was a newcomer, so he didn't find him annoying. As they walked, he explained, "If the secret realm really erodes reality, the people in the secret realm will also come to reality. At that time, it will be equivalent to the town outside having more than double the population. If there is sufficient evidence to prove that these extra people can be smoothly integrated into our society, then this secret realm is white. You must know that our country is seriously aging, and if there are hundreds of thousands of extra people all of a sudden, we can't welcome them enough. Otherwise, it will cause us trouble, and that is the red secret realm. Above the red secret realm, there is also scarlet, but that is not something we can see at this level." Lei Jun explained, "Just like your teacher Beiji from Hengyang High School, this name is actually her alias. She is actually an alien, but the secret realm she is in is a white secret realm, so the extra hundreds of thousands of people were absorbed by our country, and she can go back to her old business." Lin Bin asked, "Are you investigating me? Silly boy, do you really think it's that easy to become a reincarnationist? We do have our eyes on you, but before inviting you, we must have investigated your ancestors thoroughly. If your ancestors are not clean for 3 generations, there is no way you can become a reincarnationist." Lin Bin said, "I'm not angry. I feel more at ease when I hear you say that." They walked and talked. Soon, the two had been walking under the scorching sun for more than an hour. Lin Bin was already sweating profusely, but he knew that as a reincarnationist, he was almost the weakest among all the reincarnationists. Reincarnationists who come from normal channels have at least undergone several years of special training and have good combat power. Therefore, he actually cherished this time and seriously asked Lei Jun for many common sense issues that reincarnationists need to pay attention to. When he saw the curling smoke rising in front of him, "Let's go in and take a look." Lei Jun took the lead and led Lin Bin into the village. Seeing the surrounding architectural style, he couldn't help but exclaimed in astonishment, "Fuck, this is the Republic of China." After traveling through time, he actually heard familiar terms. Lin Bin was surprised. "What? The Republic of China is amazing." Lei Jun sighed. "I didn't participate, but I heard that there was a red secret realm before, which was the Republic of China era. The military power inside was so strong that it exploded. Especially there was a man called Invincible, who was really invincible, and killed many of our reincarnations. I hope the secret realm has nothing to do with that secret realm, otherwise we will be finished. It's not that we are finished. If there is really a connection, we can just give up the mission directly. After all, we already know enough about that secret realm. The village is not big, only 100 meters in radius. But at this time, the village is deserted, and there is no one at all. Strange, there is smoke here. Why is there no one? Lei Jun ran quickly to a house in front of him that was burning with smoke. But just as he ran to another street, his steps suddenly stopped, and a look of shock appeared on his face. Just now, the village was deserted, but just around the corner, there were at least dozens of corpses lying on the main street, with blood flowing everywhere, looking extremely miserable. Interesting. Lei Jun grinned and showed a stiff smile. These corpses were obviously the people of this village. It's not that he had never seen so many corpses before, but it was really unprecedented to treat ordinary people so cruelly. We have to check if there are any survivors. Lei Jun ran over quickly. He lifted up one of the corpses to check if there were any scars on the body, and the moment he touched the corpse, Lin Bin's reincarnation watch beeped. Just as Lei Jun said, as the time in the secret realm increased, coupled with contact with the locals, the reincarnation watch finally analyzed the task they needed to complete. Secret realm task, kill Old Master Ren. Completion reward: 2000 reincarnation points, 1B level merit. Task time limit, 7 days. Failure penalty: 1000 reincarnation points. Old Master Ren? Which Old Master? Wait. Lin Bin's eyes instinctively fell on the corpse that Lei Jun had helped up. On the neck of the corpse, 2 scarlet blood holes were oozing blood. Lei Jun's attention was obviously focused on this. He could see that this was the fatal injury. And it was not just this corpse. Almost all the corpses present, whose necks could be seen, could see 2 shocking deep blood holes on them. "Brother Lei, be careful, he is a zombie." Lin Bin screamed in shock. But before he finished speaking, the corpse that Lei Jun had held up suddenly opened his eyes, bit Lei Jun's leg with his mouth, and blood spurted out immediately. The scarlet blood seemed like a signal. All the corpses opened their eyes at the same time, greedily looking at Lei Jun, who was so close to them. Chapter 5. Failure at the start. "Fuck, you were born in the year of the dog. What's wrong with that? I'm here to save you." Lei Jun couldn't help but scream in pain. Lin Bin's voice had already rang in his ears. "Brother Lei, be careful, these people have turned into zombies." "Zombies? What zombies?" Lei Jun had no time to look back, watching the man in front of him tear a piece of flesh from his leg, and then bit his neck unsatisfied. His heart suddenly felt cold. "Die for me," Lei Jun roared, and his right arm suddenly swelled up, and for a moment it became almost thicker than his thigh. Lin Bin could hardly see the speed of Lei Jun's punch, only heard a bang. The head of the zombie that was very close to Lei Jun had exploded like a balloon, and the body staggered to the ground. Lei Jun looked at the dozens of people who stood up at the same time. Their eyes were blank, and they looked at him with desire for flesh and blood. Even though he was a veteran reincarnation in the extraordinary realm, facing such naked greedy eyes, he still couldn't help but feel a little cold in his heart. Especially with the sharp fangs bursting out of their mouths. How could they be human at all? Lei Jun shouted, "Abin, find a place to hide first." As he spoke, he growled. His height suddenly increased by more than half, and his already strong muscles became dry and twisted like tree roots. Thick veins protruded from his skin, extending from his shoulders to his cheeks, making his whole face extremely hideous. The sudden increase in muscles made him look like he was wearing a layer of protective clothing under his skin. He rushed out 2 steps and then stopped painfully. The bite just now happened to bite his artery. As he exploded, blood kept spurting out, making it difficult for him to run in pain. Fortunately, these zombies had lost their minds long ago, and they rushed towards Lei Jun like moths to a flame. Come on, I'll hammer you all to death. Lei Jun showed Lin Bin what a powerful reincarnation warrior is. Standing still, he was like a tank, full of lethality. Punch after punch. 1 punch for each zombie. Whenever a zombie was hit by his punch, its head would be blown up, and it would fall to the ground powerlessly without making any sound. Obviously, Lei Jun also understood that these people were already dead, but they could still move. He was afraid that hitting other parts might not be effective, so he simply went straight to the vital parts. But the punch was amazing, and Lei Jun's face became more and more ugly. He was not the type who was good at dodging, especially the paralysis of the injured part, which reduced his combat power by half. Facing these biting enemies, he could only try to kill the enemies as soon as possible. In the process, he had several more scratches on his body, caused by sharp nails. The numbness of the wounds made him feel that his body almost did not belong to him. In just a few minutes, dozens of zombies had all become headless zombies. After making sure that there were no more powerful enemies around, Lei Jun knelt on the ground with a plop. His majestic body slowly returned to its original state. In the process, blood kept oozing out of his thighs. He covered his wound, smiled bitterly, and leaned against the door panel next to him, saying, "I can't feel my right leg anymore. Abin, am I poisoned?" Lin Bin said with a heavy face, "You are poisoned. You are poisoned by the same poison as them." Lei Jun asked, "The same poison? Do you think I will become like them, biting everyone I see?" Lin Bin nodded. "Damn, this copy is definitely not a simple ordinary secret realm. The task, wait, B level merit? This is a killing level secret realm." Lei Jun was stunned. Looking at the task issued by the reincarnation watch on his wrist, he smiled bitterly and said, "Well, I'm sorry, Abin. I thought I was just taking you through the motions, but I didn't expect that both of us brothers would be trapped in this. B-level merits can only be produced in the killing level secret realm, which means that the reincarnation table determines that this copy is not ordinary level at all, but a killing level copy. This is not as simple as a triple jump. What's wrong with the reviewers? If I can go back alive, I must complain to them to death. Let's talk about it later. You have a strong corpse poison." Lin Bin glanced at Lei Jun's wound, which was dark purple and black. It seemed that he had just exploded, but accelerated the infection of the poison. "I'm hopeless. Half of my body is paralyzed. Abin, you run away quickly. Hold on for 7 days. If the mission fails, you can return and bring the news back." "Fuck, why are you running so fast?" Lei Jun widened his eyes and looked at Lin Bin, who couldn't wait to run away before he finished his last words. He wanted him to leave, but he left so easily. Why did he feel inexplicably unwilling? Wait, he's not leaving. Lei Jun watched Lin Bin quickly rush into the house next door, and a moment later he ran out quickly and ran into the second room. "Are you looking for an antidote? It's useless. Go quickly. Otherwise, if you are bitten to death by me, then the two of us will really become a joke, and we will be laughed at to death by other reincarnations." Lei Jun was unwilling to let Lin Bin leave, but he couldn't help but start to worry if Lin Bin didn't leave. Soon, Lin Bin ran back with a bag, which turned out to be a bag of white rice. "What are you looking for ice for? Do you want me to die of glutinous food?" "No, it's too late. I might die before you steam it. I can feel that my body is changing. Abin, don't leave. I have a gun on my waist. Please help me shoot it. It's not that serious yet. If nothing unexpected happens, this rice should be able to save your life." Lin Bin thought to himself that fortunately every household would always have some glutinous rice. Otherwise, I'm afraid that this supporter of mine would really die as soon as he appeared on the scene. He took out the glutinous rice and put it in his palm. He imitated the action he saw in the movie and covered the wound on his thigh directly. It was as if the iron was severely branded on the human body, accompanied by a burst of burnt and smelly white smoke. Lei Jun suddenly widened his eyes and let out a burst of painful whimpers. When Lin Bin moved his palm away, 4 shocking huge black holes had appeared on his leg, emitting thick black and sticky juice. It hurts so much. I can feel it. As Lin Bin covered his back, arms and waist with sticky rice, the thick smoke was mixed with painful and excited cries. Oh, I feel it. I actually feel it. Lei Jun said in surprise, this rice can actually save lives? Abin, how did you know? Lin Bin said casually, just now you were in a hurry to check the corpses, and I found that many corpses here were holding this kind of glutinous rice in their hands. In addition, they died of poisoning, so I guessed that they must have grabbed these rice to save their lives. Facts have proved that I was right. Abin is really amazing. Not yet, you have to move yourself. Why? Your wounds don't look like they have been completely detoxified. I guess this glutinous rice can only relieve the toxins. If you want to completely detoxify, you have to move as soon as possible and don't let the blood coagulate. Lin Bin said, don't forget, these people turned into corpses after they became corpses, which means that the corpse poison may not erupt completely until after the person dies, and the difference between the dead and the living is that the blood has coagulated, so you have to move as soon as possible. Don't stop and speed up your blood circulation. Move. Do you mean lifting weights? Lei Jun's eyes lit up, and he turned and looked at the millstone in the yard next to him. He said, that's exactly what I meant. As he spoke, he limped into the yard, regardless of his injuries, and lifted the millstone that weighed several hundred kilograms, lifting it up and down. In just a few minutes, he lifted it dozens of times. While he was panting with exhaustion, an excited smile appeared on his face, and he said, I feel back, but, so good. Abin, thank you so much, otherwise I would have died. Nothing, it's all what I should do. No, you are really amazing. You discovered so many things in such a short time. While carrying the millstone up and down, Lei Jun exclaimed, you may be born for the secret realm. Shame on you. Lin Bin naturally would not explain that he was inferring the effect from the cause. What he just said was all the movie knowledge he had seen in his previous life. But what exactly this world is, he already knew it clearly. Chapter 6 Zombie Buster. Mr. Zombie. A classic movie in the previous life, and it can even be said that every one of Lin Bin's age is familiar with it. Lin Bin had long known that the content of the secret realm was somewhat related to the movies and novels he had seen in his previous life, but he did not expect that he could use the knowledge from his previous life so quickly. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the two of them would have been wiped out by now. After all, the only output was poisoned, and his output was basically zero. This time he came here, just for the sake of formality, unexpectedly. If nothing unexpected happened, an accident did happen. But this kind of scene should not have appeared in the movies in Lin Bin's memory. The whole town was empty and those who stayed were bitten by zombies. Lin Bin asked, Brother Lei, why did you judge this mission to be a killing level secret realm? Lei Jun replied, the secret realm is divided into 5 major levels: ordinary, adventure, extraordinary, killing and nightmare. The higher the level, the greater the danger. In order to increase the benefits of high level secret realms, in addition to reincarnation points, there is also merit. Many precious treasures in the Reincarnation Association need not only reincarnation points but also merit. Reincarnation points can be traded to promote mutual exchanges and trade between reincarnations, but merit cannot be traded and must be obtained alone through secret realms. This is also to prevent those powerful reincarnations from directly using money to get everything done. What we need is powerful reincarnations, not rich reincarnations. Just like there are penalties for mission failures, it is also to prevent reincarnations from being hypocritical in the secret world. Lin Bin immediately understood. Reincarnationists are like civil servants in the previous life, except that civil servants in the previous life could just lie down and be a salary thief if they had no ambition. But in this world, if reincarnationists dare to lie down, they will be immediately bound by the rules. And the B-level merits are produced in the killing level secret realm at the lowest. Lei Jun said irritably. It's fucking. This secret realm clearly shows the strength of the ordinary level. How can there be B-level merits? The error is too big. Lin Bin thought to himself that I might know the reason. You know, in Uncle Jiu's world, even if he is as strong as Uncle Jiu, he is just an ordinary person. 3, 5, 8, 9 big men together may be able to beat Uncle Jiu black and blue. There must be a cultivation system, but it is definitely not possible for people to fly over eaves and walls, fly into the sky and hide in the ground, so it is reasonable to give it an ordinary evaluation. But the strength of zombies is another standard, so it can be given a killing level evaluation. It seems that we can only find a way to survive 7 days. Lei Jun frowned and said while lifting weights, I just burst out with all my strength, which resulted in the acceleration of the corpse poison. If I use the enhanced power again, I might directly turn into that kind of zombie, right? A stiff corpse. Abin, the name you gave is very appropriate. Maybe there is a way. Lin Bin thought to himself that I'm certainly not a professional in dealing with zombies, but I can find a professional. He said, I've heard a saying that everything in the world is interdependent and mutually exclusive. There must be a nemesis within 100 steps of a poisonous object. These people have become so terrible after being infected with corpse poison. It can be seen that those who spread corpse poison must be much more terrible than these people, so they must have a nemesis. Otherwise the world would probably have been full of these zombies long ago. Lei Jun's eyes lit up, and he suddenly realized, I didn't notice it. Yes, I was bitten and infected with corpse poison. Who bit them? It must be that the closer to the source, the scarier it is. No wonder it is a killing level secret realm. The difficulty is much higher than imagined. But as long as we find their nemesis, there will be no problem. But my leg is injured. I'll go. Lin Bin said, since we are on a mission, there must be such zombie nemesis around. It's dusk now. I'll set off at dawn tomorrow. Abin, I'm sorry, I wanted to take you to the secret realm, but I ended up being a burden to you. Lei Jun took out a dark pistol about the size of his palm from his waist. The dark red gun body exuded a cold metallic color, and the gun head was equipped with a sharp short blade. He smiled bitterly and said, I don't really think much of using hot weapons, so even the enhancement is done in a muscle-based way, but my brother is always worried about my safety. My brother forced me to carry this Desert Eagle Shura for self-defense, and I've never used it before. I'll give it to you for self-defense. Lin Bin was surprised and said, Desert Eagle? It's an enhanced version of the Desert Eagle. I got it from a secret realm, and later it fell into my brother's hands. The bullet capacity has been increased from 7 rounds to 11 rounds, and the recoil has been greatly reduced. The short blade can easily penetrate steel. It's a good weapon, but unfortunately it's useless to me. Enemies that can be defeated with a gun can also be defeated by my fists. Enemies that cannot be defeated with fists are useless with guns. Lei Jun said, in fact, if my secret realm time hadn't been running out, and you had been forced to enter the secret realm in advance, you should have had time to practice the use of various types of firearms. Now I can only force you to practice with 11 bullets. Use them sparingly. Understood. Lin Bin took the holster handed over by Lei Jun, put it on his waist, and then took the gun in his hand, listening to him explain how to load and open the safety. When he learned it consciously and put the gun into the holster, he suddenly felt a sense of security in his heart. Sure enough, all fears come from insufficient firepower. With a gun, although he knew it would not have much effect on zombies, he still felt a sense of security. Seeing that Lei Jun was not injured, and he was getting happier and rubbing the plate, it can be seen that he not only strengthened his muscles, but also really likes muscles. He strengthened the root of Toguro and the anim, right? The way he just exploded is quite similar. Lin Bin muttered. He was not idle either. While it was still light, he went out to search other people's homes. The village was obviously empty. Those who should escape had escaped, and those who did not escape were bitten into zombies and killed by Lei Jun. The village now has become a dead village. With the Desert Eagle Shura, he searched for some usable supplies, especially glutinous rice. The more the better. This is the only thing he can find that can pose a threat to zombies. Then he returned to Lei Jun's residence before dark, First squeezed some glutinous rice water and soaked all the bullets of the Desert Eagle Shura in glutinous rice water. He also used the glutinous rice water to cook some glutinous rice porridge casually. In addition to leaving a bowl for Bin, Lei Jun finished 7 bowls himself. He seemed to think that eating this thing could detoxify. In his words, it was the first time he ate so much of this thing that tasted so light that it tasted like bird shit. Bin wanted to tell him that cooked rice was useless to zombies, but he thought it was difficult to explain why, so he simply didn't say it and let him comfort himself. That night, Lei Jun slept on a glutinous rice bed. Bin carefully hid in a corner, making sure that he was not too far away from Lei Jun to prevent him from being attacked by zombies and not being able to ask for help in time, but also not being too close to him in case he turned into a zombie at night. It would be a joke if he died in the hands of his own people. Until the next morning, seeing the bright sunshine, Bin told Lei Jun not to forget to lift weights while he carried 30 kilograms of glutinous rice and a magic gun on his waist and set out on the road to find Uncle Jiu. Chapter 7. The plot gets out of control. Lei Jun was seriously injured. Bin almost lost all his support in this copy. If it was any other secret realm, Bin might really follow Lei Jun's words and follow him to find a place to hang out for 7 days. After the mission failed, he would go back directly. But in this way, whether it is the world, wait, what bureau is it in the world? Bin scratched his head curiously and finally understood why Zukan and Lei Jun called out different names every time. But in this way, whether it is a world bureau or the reincarnation mission, it will be judged as a failure. Double rewards must be accompanied by double penalties. The reincarnation mission has already deducted 1000 reincarnation points, plus the world bureau. Double losses are naturally nothing to Lei Jun, but for him, it is equivalent to a debt of 1 million at the beginning. Therefore, Bin feels that, if it is this world, there is still hope to fight. You know, zombies are indeed very powerful, but their weaknesses are too obvious. Fear of sunlight, fear of black dog blood, fear of sticky rice. Why is this world still considered ordinary despite the powerful and immortal zombies? There is a reason for this. And let professionals handle professional matters. He can't deal with zombies, but he knows who can. Uncle Jiu. Linfeng. As long as they find him, the mission will be secured. And since their mission is to kill that old man Ren, Uncle Jiu must be nearby. When searching for supplies, Bin had already detected it in advance. The town is close to the river in the east, surrounded by mountains in the west, a narrow path to the north, and a wide road to the south. Obviously, if you want to go to a more populated place, go south. It's definitely the right way. Lei Jun is still a little worried about Bin's safety acting alone, but Bin is very down to earth. There are many powerful zombies in Uncle Jiu's world, but only a few are not afraid of the sun. And now the sun is shining brightly, he has at least 7 or 8 hours of safety time. Bin has made up his mind. If he can't find Uncle Jiu within 4 hours, he will immediately return to Lei Jun before the sun sets. After all, it was Taguro's brother's enhanced ability. Even if he was not as good as Taguro, a reincarnation in the extraordinary realm was much stronger than him as an apprentice. It was just more than an hour after leaving Lei Jun. Bin's face became much more solemn, and his mentality was not as sure as before. He held the Desert Eagle Shura on his waist in his hand, and turned on the safety. The wilderness and bushes were not safe either. Incomplete corpses could be seen everywhere on the roadside, emitting burnt black smoke under the sun. It seemed that they had just become zombies, and were looking for food in the dark night. As a result, they did not even have the basic instinct to seek good fortune and avoid disaster, so that when the sun came out, they were directly sunburned to death here. So it seems that all the people in the village have become zombies. Those who stayed behind were not spared, and those who escaped were attacked by zombies halfway. Bin thought to himself that, even if the population was relatively sparse in ancient times, there must be at least hundreds of people in a town. Could it be that all of them have become zombies? How can this be called a Chinese zombie movie? It's even scarier than foreign zombie movies, isn't it? You know, zombies are scarier and harder to kill than zombies in a sense. Zombies will die if they are hit in the head. But zombies, Don't think that Lei Jun can kill a small zombie with one punch. But if Lin Bin holds a knife, even if the zombie does not resist, he may not be able to cut open the zombie's skull. Even ordinary zombies that have just been transformed can be said to be invulnerable to swords and guns, and invulnerable to water and fire. This is far from what ordinary zombies can compare. What's wrong with this world? Lin Bin was more careful at the moment, and his pace was much faster. But he had already understood in his heart that if they didn't find Uncle Jiu, they might not be able to survive for 7 days. Hundreds of zombies spread out. This expansion is radial. I'm afraid the surrounding areas will not be spared. At night, the zombies came out. Let alone Lei Jun, who is only a transcendent reincarnationist. Even a saint level or even a supreme reincarnationist would be doomed under the siege of thousands of zombies. No wonder it is a killing level secret realm. Moreover, there are thousands of zombies, let alone Mr. Zombie. No matter which movie Lin Fengjiao appears in, there is no such plot. This plot is already a mess. Wait. Lin Bin suddenly realized something in his heart, thinking that the extremely dangerous red secret realm. Could it be referring to the secret realm, where the plot is out of control? If so, the red secret realm can no longer be judged based on the previous plot. Lin Bin quickened his pace. Half an hour later, he came to a town that was much larger than the previous town. As he got closer, the number of zombies he could see increased, and the cause of their death was no longer limited to death by the sun. They began to have sword wounds and burns from sticky rice on their bodies, and there were traces of burning yellow talismans all around them. Someone was killing zombies here. Lin Bin was overjoyed and strode into the town. The town is much larger than the village and quite prosperous. The road is wide enough for 4 carriages to run side by side. On both sides, brand new Western style buildings and ancient Chinese wooden buildings are interlaced, which seems to have a combination of Chinese and Western flavor. This era is in the process of Western cultural invasion. The real rich people regard the West as beautiful, which makes the town also have a bit of self-righteous Western style in this era. Obviously, this should be the core city of all the surrounding towns. But now it is also desolate and dilapidated. There are shoulder poles and baskets everywhere on the ground, and dust is flying, rolling into the shops with open doors. The open windows on the second floor are slapped by the wind, adding some noise to the town, but it is even more quiet and terrifying. Even if the sun is blazing at this time, it still can't warm up the dead and cold chill in the town. Lin Bin held the Desert Eagle Shura tightly in one hand and grabbed a bunch of glutinous rice in the other hand. If there is any problem, he will sprinkle it all over the sky. He walked carefully on the street. The doors of the shops were wide open, and the interiors were full of strange things, but Lin Bin knew the principle of never entering dangerous places, no matter how dangerous it is. I won't go to places where the sun doesn't shine. Slowly going deeper into the center of the town, there were more corpses. The smell of burnt stench was disgusting before, but now Lin Bin has completely gotten used to it. Just as Lin Bin was getting closer to the center of the town, above his head, a dark cloud slowly approached the town. When Lin Bin noticed it, most of the town was already shrouded in shadow. Oh no, it's going to rain. Lin Bin realized it later and found that the sky was covered with dark clouds without knowing when. Hateful. There is no weather forecast in this world. And as the shadow appeared, the sun was blocked. Behind him, there was a creaking sound. The sound of wooden boards being crushed was heard. Lin Bin turned around. He saw a scarlet figure rushing out of the house next to him like a swift tiger and attacking him directly. The speed was so fast. By the time Lin Bin reacted, the other party was already close at hand. Lin Bin could even smell the strong stench coming out of his mouth. Instinctively, he raised his hand to block. With the other hand, he threw out the sticky rice. There was a crackling sound, and the sticky rice fell on the zombie, like a firecracker being lit, with a series of dense crackling sounds. He was covered with smoke, and the whole person was twitching wildly on the spot. Lin Bin reacted quickly and took advantage of the zombie to stop and raised his hand to shoot him. The position originally aimed at the heart hit the shoulder due to the recoil, and blood splattered. The bullet stained with sticky rice water caused great damage to the zombie. The huge impact force knocked the zombie away fiercely. It rolled on the ground for several laps in embarrassment. The zombie shouted, "Rice, sticky rice, give me, sticky rice." Lin Bin realized that the red figure, the red on his body, was actually all blood. And under the blood, he was clearly wearing a yellow Taoist robe, short grey hair, thick eyebrows, and that iconic short beard. Lin Bin was shocked and screamed, You are Uncle 9. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, End of the story. Glutinous rice. Give it to me, quickly. I can't hold on any longer. It seemed that Lin Bin had just attacked him with 2 consecutive glutinous rice attacks. The zombie screamed in pain and stretched out its sharp nails towards Lin Bin, but it was no longer for killing, but for help. Lin Bin did not dare to get close and hurriedly threw the glutinous rice on his body to him. The zombie stretched out his hand to tear open the bag, and the white glutinous rice flowed all over the ground. His palm was instantly burned black. Screaming in pain, the zombie ignored the pain and forcibly grabbed the glutinous rice and stuffed it into the hole just opened by the Desert Eagle Shura. Handful after hand, the glutinous rice that was stuffed in flowed out along the hole in his back, but it turned from white to burnt black, and the thick juice was unbearable. He grabbed dozens of handfuls until his palm grabbed the glutinous rice. The reaction was no longer as violent as before, but his face was already distorted with pain, like a devil from hell. He panted in pain for a long time. He then looked up at Lin Bin and asked weakly, Do you recognize me? Lin Bin was surprised and said, Are you really Uncle 9 Lin Fingjio? How did you become a zombie? This is our fate in this line of work. It's just a matter of time. What's so strange about it? Lin Fingjio slowly leaned against the door panel and smiled bitterly. It's just that I didn't expect it to be this way. Lin Bin's face was dull. There is no doubt that Lin Fingjio is the well-deserved protagonist of the zombie world. But I didn't expect that even the protagonist has become a zombie. But think about it carefully, the protagonist's luck in the movie is naturally protected. But when the arranged plot appears in reality, then a slight error in the details may lead to an accident. Not to mention that the plot has been out of control to this extent. Lin Bin asked, What happened? If the corpse poison is not contained, it will spread very quickly. At that time, all my attention was on when Captain Ori and his men went into the mountains to capture Old Master Ren, but they were all bitten by Old Master Ren. After escaping, they turned into zombies and bit people everywhere in the town. When I found out, it was too late. Lin Fingjio smiled bitterly and said, There were so many zombies, and I was seriously injured. All the glutinous rice was used up. Thank you very much, little brother. If it was a little later, I would be completely hopeless. Lin Bin asked with concern. Uncle Jiu, how do you feel now? Lin Fingjio covered her wound and said, Don't worry, I know what you are worried about. I have practiced Taoism for many years, and it is not in vain that I have fought against zombies for so many years. Lin Bin was surprised and said, So you are okay? Lin Fingjio said, I can at least hold on for another hour. Lin Bin. So, little brother, I have something to ask of you. Uncle Jiu, you go. Lin Fingjio smiled bitterly and said, I'm poisoned by corpses. I can't be saved. I want to ask my little brother to kill me. Lin Bin was speechless. He came here to seek help from Uncle Jiu, but he didn't expect the plot to be so chaotic that even the zombie nemesis was about to become a zombie. But now, looking at his ferocious fangs and sharp nails, although he has temporarily regained his sanity, it is obviously because of his hard work in practicing Taoism. If he is left alone, he will soon become a zombie again. Okay. Lin Bin smiled bitterly and nodded. Forget it. After helping him get rid of it, hurry back to the town, and then take Lei Chun to find a safe place. This world is too chaotic. If you want to make a living here, you must be equipped with an army with the best weapons. Lin Bin raised the Desert Eagle Shura in his hand and aimed it at Lin Fingjio's head. Wait a minute. Lin Fingjio shook her head and said, No, your weapon is stained with sticky rice water, but sticky rice can only restrain zombies, not kill them, especially since I have Taoist skills. If I completely turn into a zombie, I will at least start as a hairy zombie. Go to the house. There is my money sword inside. After I was poisoned by the corpse, I couldn't touch this thing, so I asked Qiu Sheng to hide it for me before he died. Money sword? Lin Bin naturally knew this sword. It was extremely murderous, and could be said to be a sharp weapon for killing zombies and ghosts. He entered the room. Under Lin Fengjiao's guidance, he quickly found an old compass and a money sword made of copper coins that was only half the length of his arm. Seeing Lin Bin holding the money sword, Lin Fengjiao said, "This compass can detect the movements and whereabouts of ghosts. You should keep it with you for self-defense. As for this golden sword, it was made in the 60th year of Wu, the day of Wu, the month of Wu, and the hour of Wu in the lunar calendar. It has a strong yang energy and is a treasure given to me by my master. After you kill me with this sword, I'll trouble you." He paused and smiled bitterly. He said, "Forget it. This kind of disaster is no longer something that can be solved by one person. If I really do this, it will harm their lives. You should use this golden sword to protect yourself, otherwise you may not be able to escape from the zombies." Lin Bin was surprised and said, "Is this place surrounded by zombies? There is no shelter in the town. The low-level zombies have no ability to seek good fortune and avoid disaster. Most of them were burned to death. But in the deep jungle, the trees are dense and the sun can't shine in. I'm afraid there will be many zombies surviving. At night, they are the world. No place is safe. Remember to be careful and don't let the zombies smell you." "Yes." Lin Bin nodded and said, "Uncle Jiu, have a good time." "Thank you." Lin Bin gritted his teeth and stabbed the golden sword into Lin Fengjiao's chest. The golden sword had no edge, but the blade seemed to be indestructible. It even emitted a dazzling golden light and easily penetrated. Lin Fengjiao screamed in pain. Spitting out a mouthful of black blood, he smiled bitterly and said, Finally, I don't have to harm the world. Little brother, I have almost cleared out the zombies in this city. You should be fine hiding here. Tomorrow morning, we will escape. Uncle Jiu, have a safe trip." Lin Bin looked solemn, watching Lin Fengjiao's voice gradually fade away. He did not leave immediately. Instead, he searched the room, found kerosene, and set his body on fire. It's not that he didn't want him to rest in peace, but it's really that an ordinary person has limited ability. It's a joke to dig a pit and bury a person in a few minutes like on TV. In the raging fire, he heard the sound of the corpse oil crackling. It burned for more than an hour. Lin Bin watched helplessly as his only savior was left with only charred ashes. Obviously, the corpse poison had penetrated into the bones. Lin Bin carefully collected the ashes and put them in a cloth bag. Thinking of Uncle Jiu's last words, his heart was heavy. It seemed that the next 6 days would not be easy. The two of them were probably lucky to be fine yesterday, but it is impossible to rely on luck to survive the rest of the time. Next, we must find a way to find a place that is absolutely safe. According to the many zombie survival movies and apocalypse novels he had seen before, Lin Bin immediately thought of the police station. It is closed, with high doors and thick walls, and there are enough weapons inside. Lin Bin looked at the Desert Eagle Shura in his hand. In this era, this kind of gun should be a hero level weapon, right? But at least it is closed. It is right to rush to meet up with Lei Jun first. Lin Bin put away the golden sword and the compass. Before he took a step, he suddenly felt an itch in his arms. He took out the compass, but found that the pointer inside the compass, which had been quiet before, was now running wildly. Then it pointed to the position behind the left side. The tip of the needle was still trembling. Lin Bin instinctively picked up the Desert Eagle Shura and looked warily in the direction pointed by the compass. Chapter 9. Don't sit still when things happen. Deathly silent. After a long time, the compass slowly calmed down. Lin Bin's violently beating heart finally stopped, and he realized that his palms holding the gun were already sweaty. Although he didn't see anything just now, he felt like he had survived a circle between life and death. Are there still zombies in the town? Did Uncle Jiu not clean them up? Or are there new zombies pouring in? It seems that it is no longer realistic to reunite with Lei Jun. Lin Bin looked up at the gloomy sky and felt that it would not be surprising if heavy rain fell in the next moment. There was no sun. In this kind of weather, the zombies came out. If you want to rush back in a few hours, you will definitely encounter zombie attacks in the middle. Let's go to the police station to hide for a night. Linbin has a deep impression of the police station cells in this world. He took out the compass and slowly walked towards the center of the town. Along the way, the compass trembled several times in succession, as if it sensed the zombies, but the directions were all different. It seems that there are many zombies around. Linbin carefully held his breath and dodged. He had walked for half an hour, but he had only walked less than 1,000 meters. But he could see the dark brown high walled courtyard in front of him. The police stations in the Republic of China were all of this color and style. Linbin breathed a sigh of relief. He pushed the solid wood door, but it didn't move at all. The door was locked from the inside, but this didn't bother him. The Desert Eagle Shura spear tip had a blade that could cut iron like mud. He gently scratched along the crack of the door, and the heavy lock was directly cut in two. There were 2 bangs of wood falling. The door suddenly loosened. Linbin pushed the door open and entered. He found a piece of wood and propped the door shut again. Before he turned around, a hard object behind him pressed against his lower back, accompanied by a heavy gasp. "Don't move." Linbin stopped moving immediately. Needless to say, the person who could appear in the police station must not be holding a wooden stick. The man said, "Turn around slowly." Linbin turned around slowly and said, "Don't worry, I'm a human. If I were a zombie, your threats wouldn't work at all, because zombies can't understand you." He clenched the Desert Eagle Shura in his hand. The man seemed to have no experience, and didn't even let him put down the gun first. If the other party really had bad intentions, it would give him a chance to kill back. To put it in professional terms, Linbin's Desert Eagle Shura was pulled out quickly, while the other party's gun was undoubtedly pulled out slowly. Linbin turned around slowly and said in surprise, "Why is it you?" He wore glasses, had grey hair, and a big rosacea that was particularly eye-catching, and looked very frivolous. Isn't he the Taoist priest Simu mentioned by Lin Fengjiao before? Taoist Simu's face also changed slightly. His eyes were fixed on the compass in Linbin's hand and he said, "Who are you, and how come you have my compass?" Linbin sighed. "He's dead. I just collected his body." As he spoke, he took out the cloth bag hanging on his waist, showed the black ashes inside to the other party, and said, "These are his ashes. There are too many zombies here. I really can't bury him in peace. The corpse poison has entered the bones and 3 parts of the soul are attached. These are the ashes of a cultivator for sure." Taoist Simu breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the ashes and said, "So, you are his new disciple." He confirmed that Linbin was not a threat. His previous defensive posture suddenly relaxed, and he leaned against the wall weakly, smiling bitterly. "I almost thought it was a zombie." Linbin said, "If zombies come, it's useless even if you shoot. Even if zombies come, I can't shoot. This thing is not much different from a fire stick in my hand. How would I know how to use it?" Taoist Simu threw the gun aside, with a bit of loneliness on his face. Although he had always been unwilling to accept it, he had to admit that Lin Fengjiao's cultivation was far superior to his. He sighed. "My senior brother is gone too? This time it's serious." Linbin touched his waist, where the golden sword was still tucked. He did not hand the sword to the other party immediately, but asked, "Why are you here?" Taoist Simu replied, "I live only a few dozen miles away from here. Dozens of zombies have appeared in the past 2 days, and there are also a large number of people fleeing famine. Obviously there is a terrible zombie behind that is constantly sucking human blood. I'm worried that it will become difficult to deal with if it sucks too much, so I thought of striking first, and came here with equipment." He smiled bitterly and said, "I originally wanted to meet up with my brother first, and then make plans, but I encountered that zombie halfway. I fought with him, but failed to kill the enemy, and almost died at its hands. I chased and fled here. After arriving here, I found that the situation was much more serious than I thought. Now I heard that my brother is gone too. Maybe the situation is much more serious than I thought." "That zombie, are you referring to the source of this zombie cholera? Old Master Ren? He chased you?" "Of course, the blood of us cultivators has a great effect on zombies. Sucking one is more effective than sucking hundreds of ordinary people. Since it has found me, it will definitely not let me go." Taoist Simu said, but I didn't expect that even my senior brother died in his hands. So it's acceptable that it's so powerful. I'm afraid it has reached the level of a hairy zombie. Lin Bin knew what the hairy zombie was like. It had a strong body and was agile. It could jump up and down trees, jump like flying, and even began to not fear the sun. In addition, it had so many younger brothers. No wonder the difficulty of this secret realm was at the killing level. But in this way, Lin Bin couldn't help but feel a little depressed. No wonder they rested so well last night without being disturbed. It was probably because of Taoist Simu's participation that the attention of the old man Ren was focused on him. But looking at Simu's current state, although he was not scratched by the zombies, his expression was listless. It seemed that he was also tormented by the zombies. If he died too, it was impossible for two people, one of whom was seriously injured, to survive for 6 days in a land full of zombies. Lin Bin gritted his teeth and said, no, we can't just sit and wait for death when something happens. We must take the initiative to kill this old man Ren, and the sooner the better. In this case, the possibility of surviving 6 days safely is very small. You know, they can have this moment of peace because Uncle Jiu almost cleaned up all the remaining zombies in this town before he turned into a corpse. If you are poisoned by the corpse, you don't have to care about the damage caused by the zombies. It's not surprising that he can have such a result. Once the zombies gather, he really has no hope at all. But if you want to kill them back, it may not be hopeless. Lin Bin looked at Taoist Simu. In terms of strength, Taoist Simu is definitely far inferior to Lei Jun. But if it is to deal with zombies, he is much more useful than Lei Jun. This is the #1 physical demon subduer, the one who really humiliates zombies with his fists. That's right, if that old man Ren evolves into a flying zombie, then it will not only be a disaster for this area of 100 miles, but 1,000 miles will become a red land. We must kill him as soon as possible. Taoist Simu said with regret, it's a pity that my weapons are all damaged. My strongest summoning technique can only match the power of that hairy zombie. I'm not durable, so I can't kill him. Lin Bin asked, what if there is a gold and silver sword? Taoist Simu's eyes lit up and asked, gold and silver sword? Is it the gold and silver sword made in the 60-year cycle of the year of Wu, the day of Wu, the month of Wu, and the hour of Wu in the lunar calendar? The gold and silver sword that my master passed on to my senior brother, which I have been coveting for decades? Lin Bin took the opportunity to take the position. He said, seeing that I got the compass, you should understand my identity very well. My master has passed on the gold and silver sword to me. But if your uncle wants to borrow it, as long as you pass on the summoning technique to me, I can lend it to you for a period of time. Stinky boy, you are still fussing with me at this time. Taoist Simu glanced at Lin Bin and asked, what's your name? Abin. I guess your family name must be Lin, right? Lin Bin was surprised and said, how do you know? Of course I know. You are petty and calculating, and the way you pick your butt and suck your fingers is exactly the same as Lin Fengjiu. You must be his long lost biological son. Lin Bin laughed and said, it's just a coincidence. I don't believe you. Taoist Simu snorted. Chapter 10. Fighting. Although Taoist Simu is greedy and careless, at the critical moment, his determination to eliminate demons and defend the Dao is no less than Lin Fengjiu. He had a fierce battle with old Master Ren before, and although he was defeated and fled, he did not give up the idea of destroying him. Otherwise, with his ability, he would have escaped long ago. He would not be trapped in this small police station. Now seeing that Lin Bin actually has his senior brother's golden sword in his hand, that was something he had specially asked his master for a long time when he was a master, and he naturally understood its power. He could not hide his intention to fight old Master Ren again. Lin Bin, on the other hand, would not be able to survive for 7 days if he did not kill old Master Ren. The two hit it off. They began to prepare immediately. While preparing and chatting with Taoist Simu, Lin Bin also learned a lot of things that he could not understand through movies before. For example, although the compass is amazing and can automatically sense the evil spirit, it is highly targeted. That is to say, it can only sense the strongest evil spirit within 100 meters and then lock it. As for the weaker evil spirits in the surrounding area, it cannot sense it. This is a blind spot. Lin Bin only remembered that Lin Fengjiu held the compass in the movie, and no demons or evil spirits could avoid it, but he didn't expect that there was a limitation in this regard. Wait. He suddenly remembered the reaction of the compass just now. So, that old man Ren is nearby? It seems that just like Taoist Simu has not given up on killing him, old man Ren is still coveting Taoist Simu's flesh and blood. Lin Bin told Taoist Simu about his discovery just now. Taoist Simu was silent for a long while, then sighed. I thought we had enough time to prepare, but now it seems we have to act as soon as possible. Lin Bin asked, you mean? Old Master Ren is waiting for the night. What else? This also proves that old Master Ren has sucked too much human blood and has gradually begun to have his own consciousness. This is a sign of evolution into a flying corpse. Alas, he has sucked too much human blood and now he has got the blood of my senior brother. This is a great fortune for zombies. It seems that we have to improve our strength to the maximum extent. Lin Bin looked at Taoist Simu and said, Uncle Master, I have just become your apprentice not long ago, and I haven't had time to learn Taoism from you. How about you teach me a little bit before the battle? I heard from my master that your secret magic is extremely powerful and cannot be matched by ordinary people. I can see that you are just an ordinary person. Taoist Simu said with regret, but you really think too much. My senior brother is gone. It is common sense for me to teach you in his place. Naturally, there is no reason for me to be partial to you. But we must get rid of old Master Ren before dark. Otherwise when those little zombies arrive, things will be really troublesome. With such a short time, I won't have enough time to teach you the turtle fist. Okay. Lin Bin sighed with regret. Sure enough, people can't be perfect. Although he has gained the trust of Taoist Simu, his summoning technique is useless. Fortunately, he got Uncle Jiu's golden money sword, which is something that even Taoist Simu covets. It can be said that this trip is worthwhile. The two quickly began to make arrangements. 2 hours later, Hull accompanied by a deep inhalation like a beast, a stiff figure slowly jumped towards the direction of the police station. With its knees straight and its arms raised straight, it looked like a puppet on the stage. But this rigid way of moving was as fast as a ghost. Wherever it passed, a black smell of decay gradually spread, and it was already a precursor to the development of demonic energy. It had reached this area. His nose shrugged. The face, which was already highly rotten and covered with rotten flesh, could no longer show any expression, but there was a human sarcasm in its eyes. It had obviously discovered the enemy's trace. But it did not jump in, but turned around and slowly jumped away. It seemed that it had a sense of cat playing with mouse, and it was obvious that it wanted to wait until night came to enjoy this wonderful meal. But it had not had time to walk far. Suddenly, there was a loud bang, and the thick and tall wall was blasted apart. Broken bricks and cement splashed, and in the grey smoke, a figure that was more burly than a zombie had rushed out. Asshole, you dare to pester me and follow me around. Do you really think that your master has been eating glutinous rice for more than 50 years for nothing? The figure had strong and muscular muscles. Although he was not as strong as Lei Ming, who specialized in muscle strengthening, he was beyond the scope of humans. Wasn't he Taoist Simu? At this time, he was in the state of summoning gods, and his whole spirit and energy were perfect to the extreme. Obviously, when old Master Ren noticed him, he also noticed the other party. Realizing that the other party did not attack directly, Taoist Simu did not intend to let the other party take advantage of the terrain. He rushed out suddenly and punched the zombie in the chin, knocking him out. Then he stretched out his hand and pulled. The dark incline swung towards old Master Ren like a whip, and the zombie was tied up tightly in the air. The incline was only as thick as a needle. Not to mention a man, even a woman could break it with a little effort. But when it was wrapped around old Master Ren, it was like a red-hot iron chain, which made him unable to move, and burned all over his body. Old Master Ren struggled desperately, but he couldn't get rid of the incline. Die for me. Simu didn't give him a chance to breathe, and rushed forward with a set of combined punches. Although he was a Taoist, he obviously practiced martial arts, and his moves were very methodical. In just a few breaths, Old Master Ren had been hit by dozens of punches and smashed hard against a stone wall next to him. Debris flew everywhere, and bricks fell, burying him alive. Taoist Semu panted heavily, supported his knees, and kept saying as if praying, "Don't get up, just let me save you. Don't get up again." Unfortunately, his prayers were useless. His attack was enough to kill anyone, but zombies were least afraid of fist and foot attacks, unless they could smash their heads like Lei Ming did. But the old man Ren in front of him was not an ordinary purple zombie. Even if Lei Ming came, it would be difficult to completely break through his defense and kill him with one blow. Old man Ren stood up slowly under the broken bricks. Except for a lot of dust on his body and his clothes being more tattered, he didn't seem to have suffered any injuries. The ink line wrapped around his body had been cut by the broken bricks just now. It jumped up, crossed a distance of more than 10 meters, and pounced on Taoist Semu. "Damn it, why are you so thick-skinned?" Taoist Semu shouted angrily, propped himself up, and fought with the zombies again. One was powerful and heavy, and the other was invulnerable. The fierce battle between the two sides was exactly like the situation where Old Master Ren was beaten. The zombie was biting and scratching without any rules. Facing the Taoist Master Semu, who was stronger than it and knew more skills such as grappling and fighting, it had almost no power to fight back. But the Taoist Master Semu became more and more frightened as he fought. After sucking so much human blood, it really evolved. In the last battle, he could only take the beatings and resisted with his hard skin. But now, it seems that he has the upper hand, but the opponent has also learned to resist and dodge in a rough way. Especially with so many punches and kicks, not a single one hit his vital points. This zombie has sucked so much human blood, and it is probably much more evolved than before, and it is only one step away from becoming a flying zombie. At the moment, he seems to have the upper hand, but he cannot kill the enemy with one blow, and it will not last long. Once the summoning technique ends, he will fall into weakness, and then it will be his death. Chapter 11. It's shameful to hang up. Seeing that if the fight continued, even escaping would be a problem, Taoist Semu was defeated in battle and shouted angrily, "Hey, little zombie, I can't beat you today on an empty stomach. Wait until I go back and eat 3 pounds of glutinous rice, and then I will come to compete with you." After that, he kicked the zombie away fiercely. He turned around and ran without hesitation. Old Master Ren had been a target for a long time, just waiting for him to lose his temper. Who knew that this guy was really fierce when he was fierce, and so cowardly when he was timid, and he actually ran away when he said he would. Taoist Semu turned around without hesitation, which made Old Master Ren furious. He raised his head and let out a long roar. The originally quiet town suddenly fell into chaos. Countless chaotic footsteps sounded, and a large number of zombies emerged from the corner, directly blocking the way of Taoist Semu. Obviously, just now, Old Master Ren wanted to enjoy the food alone, but just in case, he arranged a large number of zombie subordinates who were bitten by him around, to prevent Taoist Semu from escaping. Taoist Semu was still in the state of summoning gods, but he was still scared when he saw this scene. He turned around and ran in another direction. But there were dozens of zombies surrounding him. There were already more than 100 zombies surrounding him. Obviously, the reason why Lin Bean's compass sensed that Old Master Ren was running around was that he was gathering his subordinates to provide an insurance against Taoist Semu. And now, this insurance has obviously played a big role. "Get out of my way." Taoist Semu was still in the state of summoning gods. Seeing the zombies surging ahead and nowhere to hide, he simply rushed forward like a tiger into a flock of sheep, punching a small zombie away. Even though dozens of zombies surrounded him, they couldn't break through his defense. Old Master Ren's eyes showed a bit of humane complacency. This guy's not easy to deal with. He could just make a final move and reap the fruits of victory. A roar. The zombies pounced harder. Even if Taoist Semu was so strong, he had fought with Old Master Ren and had little physical strength left. Finally, a zombie tore a wound on his body. The breath in his heart was instantly dissipated. Taoist Semu's tall body shrank directly, becoming much shorter than most zombies, and the overwhelming force disappeared with it. He was immediately surrounded by zombies. At this time, seeing that Taoist Samu no longer had the ability to resist, Old Master Ren roared again. Many zombies who were salivating with desire were frightened and hid behind one by one. Only the zombie who broke through Taoist Samu's defense was covered in blood, and it seemed that he didn't know how many people he had bitten. At this time, he greedily sniffed the blood on his nails. The blood of the Taoist monks seemed to have made him forget the hierarchy. He pounced on him and bit Taoist Samu's neck. Ah! Taoist Samu screamed, and blood spurted out immediately. Even many zombies who had retreated because of fear also showed their greedy eyes. Old Master Ren was furious. This was obviously not only to steal his food. You know, once a human is bitten by a zombie, he will be injected with corpse poison, and then the blood will become rotten and smelly, and it will be difficult to swallow the second bite, and it will lose its initial effectiveness. And this is obviously a provocation to His Majesty. He jumped over angrily and picked up the zombie. Just when he was about to tear it into pieces to protect his dignity, the Taoist Samu, who had been bitten by the zombie and was supposed to be poisoned by the corpse and unable to move, suddenly stretched out his hand and stuck a yellow talisman directly on the forehead of Old Master Ren. Old Master Ren froze for a moment. Then a small sword flashing with golden light penetrated directly into his chest. It turned out that the zombie who had just been unable to hide his greed actually held the zombie-killing golden money sword and took advantage of his pause to pierce his vitals fiercely. The other hand was not quiet either, and the Desert Eagle Shura's gun blade directly nailed him fiercely on the forehead. Bang 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 bang. Desert Eagle Shura fired 6 shots in succession. His invulnerable body could not withstand the attack of the hero-level weapon, and his brain was directly blasted with several huge blood holes. The Taoist Samu was also very fast. The yellow talisman stuck on Old Master Ren's head and immediately began to burn. It was obvious that he could no longer be restrained. But in just a few seconds, Lin Bin stabbed with his sword and fired with his gun. While Lin Bin was attacking, Taoist Samu drew out his money sword and silently chanted the 9-character mantra. The money sword immediately shone brightly. In the hands of professionals, the money sword was even more powerful. Another sword. It went straight into the chest. As Taoist Samu slammed his palm on the hilt, the money sword went straight through the body. At this point, the yellow talisman just burned out. But Old Master Ren's head and heart were all injured. The Desert Eagle Shura was stained with glutinous rice water, which restrained him. The money sword was a deadly sword. With this sword, Old Master Ren was not a flying zombie. Even if he had become a flying zombie, he would not be able to escape death. The reincarnation table sounded a reminder. But at this time, Lin Bin didn't care to look at it. He drew out the Desert Eagle Shura and shot at the few small zombies closest to him. At this time, they were obviously not out of danger. Bang, bang, bang. The last few bullets were fired. But the zombies that were a little closer had already fallen to the ground. Sword back. Taoist Samu waved his sword back, holding the golden coin sword in his hand, and his demeanor was even more arrogant than before when he was summoning the gods. He held the golden coin sword in his hand and turned his hand. Several zombies had already died under his sword. They really died if they were hit or touched. He laughed and said, "You are smart, kid. How did you think of smearing the blood of zombies on your body and then hiding it from his ability to identify? A man named Rick taught me." Lin Bin had no bullets in his gun, but he still had a lot of glutinous rice that he had searched from the village before. He scattered it like a rain of flowers, and all the zombies were immediately forced to retreat, which also expanded the battle for Taoist Samu. He complained, "It's a pity that you, this stinky boy, actually bit me. My neck is bleeding. This is also for realism. Besides, you haven't taken a bath for at least 7 or 8 days. Although it was to kill Old Master Ren, the price I paid was too high. If you don't teach me the art of summoning the mystic, it will be difficult to make up for my mental damage." After Lin Bin finished shooting, he retreated quickly, holding a handful of sticky rice in his hand to protect himself. He left it to Taoist Samu to play. These zombies were all the lowest level purple zombies, and they were no match for Taoist Samu. In addition, with the help of the golden money sword, more than half of them had fallen in a short moment, and it seemed that clearing them was not a problem. Lin Bin then looked down at his reincarnation table. Sure enough, there was already floating information on it. The mission has been completed. Do you want to return to the settlement? Can it be delayed for a while? Lin Bin hesitated and chose no. It was not easy to gain the trust of Taoist Simu. He was unwilling to stay for a few more days. At the same time, far away in another land, Lei Jun, who was lifting weights crazily, looked at his reincarnation table in surprise, and said in surprise, didn't Abin go to find helpers? How come the task was completed inexplicably? Secret Realm task, kill Old Master Ren, completion reward. 2000 reincarnation points, 1B level merit, task time limit, 7 days, failure penalty. 1000 reincarnation points, task completed, contribution liquidation in progress, Secret Realm task evaluation, F. You have serious AFK behavior, and you will receive 40% of the reward for this task, and the B level merit will be reduced to D level, task. Reward, get 800 reincarnation points, 1D level merit, AFK, AFK. Lei Jun was confused and said, I'm not AFK, I'm poisoned. Chapter 12 This is not modesty. I'm really not AFK, I'm poisoned. Lei Jun shouted in panic. He couldn't help but panic. You know, every time a reincarnator performs in a secret realm, it will be recorded in their personal files, and become one of their resumes. And F level is the lowest level of evaluation, and it will also be easy for people to mistakenly think that he is afraid of death, and has been hiding in the back from the beginning. If this kind of evaluation appears in his resume, it will be troublesome to find teammates in the future. A prompt appeared on the reincarnation table. Do you want to return? Lei Jun chose to return without hesitation. I have to appeal quickly and try to remove this F level. After clicking on return, a space-time crack appeared in front of Lei Jun. He limped in. The next moment, after the sky turned dark, the sky returned to clear. The sun in the sky was still clear. And the scene of the village, that was previously deserted and lonely also changed, turning into a lively downtown district. Lei Jun knew that he had returned to the real world. The killing level copy just ended in such a dream. He was completely unable to react. As he appeared, seeing that he was covered in blood, a large number of staff immediately rushed over. After learning that his wound was on his leg, they hurried to treat him urgently. Lei Jun, why did you come out by yourself? At this time, a stern female voice sounded beside him. Lei Jun turned his head and saw a tall curly-haired beauty staring at him angrily. But the tear mole at the corner of her eye softened her edge too much, so that even if she was angry, she still exuded a charming energy. She didn't look scary at all. Lei Jun couldn't help but shudder and said in surprise, Kyan. Sister Kyan, why are you here? Let's all come to see the specific situation. Where is Lin Bin? Why didn't he come out with you? Is it him? Next to him, a figure that was even more rough and tall than Lei Jun strode over and asked, I handed over your Desert Eagle Shura. Is it useful to you? Lei Meng, the director of the World Supervision Bureau and Lei Jun's biological brother. The meaning of his question was very clear. The Desert Eagle Shura was actually given to Lei Jun for self-defense. And the one he was guarding against was not the alien in the secret realm, but Lin Bin. Obviously, this trip to the secret realm was not only a normal training, but also a trap set for Lin Bin. If Lin Bin really had a problem, he would never let Lei Jun go in the secret realm, and would definitely attack him, and then he would be exposed. Oh, I gave the gun to Abin. Lei Jun said, I can be sure that Abin is fine. I can guarantee this with my life. If it weren't for him, I would have died. If he had a problem, then there would be no need to save me. Oh. Several people were stunned at the same time. Especially Zukayan, who couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. He had a good impression of Lin Bin, not only because she brought him in, but also because he had seen him take care of his sister up close, so he didn't want everything about this young man to be just a disguise. And now, Lei Jun can actually say such words. It seems that he is really fine. Then why didn't he come back? It should be that he chose to delay his return. We are not together, but the mission was mainly completed by him, so I'm sure that his life is not in danger. Otherwise the mission cannot be completed, right? Lei Jun complained. But brother, this time this mistake is too big. This is not an ordinary secret realm at all. This is a killing secret realm. He said with resentment. I almost died in it. Killing level? Zukan and Lei Meng were shocked, exchanged glances, and saw the solemnity and seriousness in each other's eyes. Lei Meng said in a deep voice, leave one person here, to wait for Abin to come out. We get in the car, and go back to talk in detail. After all, space detection is only a peripheral detection, so it is not impossible to make mistakes. And every mistake will cause a large number of deaths and injuries to reincarnations. Especially the killing level is already dangerous. Once it gets out of control, it will cause great damage to the world at that time, so they naturally cannot help but be cautious. The secret realm detection error, the ordinary secret realm, that appeared in the town turned out to be a killing secret realm. This news quickly spread throughout the entire reincarnation circle. For a time, the Samsara Association, Samsara Chamber of Commerce, and major organizations all paid great attention to the World Monitoring Bureau. When Lei Jun limped out of the car and entered the World Monitoring Bureau, he found that the World Monitoring Bureau was already full of bigwigs. Li Shujin, the leader of the Martial Arts God Alliance, Feng Qingshan, the president of the Supernatural Association, K88, the vice president of the Technology Enhancement Association, and others had already been waiting here. All the reincarnations belong to the Samsara Association. But according to the enhancement route, they also belong to different organizations, which can be regarded as a group for warmth. Mr. Lei Jun, I heard you say that this new secret realm is actually a killing level secret realm, so I made this trip just to ask, is this new secret realm a red secret realm or a white secret realm? Li Shujin had a kind smile on her face. As the president of the Martial Arts Association, she was quite petite, only less than 1.6 meters tall. She was just wearing a neat martial arts uniform, looking particularly capable. She smiled and said to Lei Jun, with your strength, Mr. Lei Jun, you still suffered a serious injury. It seems that this trip to the secret realm must be extremely dangerous, right? Being praised by a reincarnationist who has reached the highest level of strength, Lei Jun was flattered and waved his hand hurriedly, saying, President Li, you think too highly of me. My trip to the secret realm this time actually did not play any role. I was paddling most of the time. But this secret realm is a red secret realm, there is no doubt about it. Mr. Lei Jun is too modest. Li Shujin looked at Lei Jun with a little admiration in her eyes. Not arrogant or impatient, he looks rough, but in fact he is rough and meticulous. Lei Meng has a good brother, who is a good talent. Tell me about your experience. Lei Meng naturally knew the purpose of so many people coming here. If it is really a secret realm, because it is located in a busy city, it is necessary to clear it as soon as possible. At that time, the reincarnationists under the command of various organizations will be sent. Although there will be a detailed report at that time. But it is obviously better to listen to the person's personal description, so that one can understand more directly. Perhaps this trip can help reduce the loss of a few of the most elite reincarnations under his command. Okay, in fact, this secret realm is more dangerous than the previous secret realms I have experienced. Lei Jun recounted his experience. He entered the secret realm, but when he checked the corpse, he was accidentally bitten by a dead body, and was poisoned by the corpse, and was about to be transformed into a zombie like them. Lei Jun sighed. Thanks to Abin's alertness, he found that glutinous rice can actually detoxify the zombie poison. Otherwise, I might have become a zombie now. Stop saying. Raymond asked, then what? Then Abin told me that corpse blood entering the body will cause blood coagulation. If you want to avoid becoming a zombie, you need to keep exercising, and exercising again to keep your blood flowing, which can alleviate the damage caused by the corpse poison. Everyone nodded. This is very important information. If you are poisoned and don't know how to cure it, you either have to spend expensive detoxification pills or transform into a zombie. Now there is a more convenient solution. K88 asked, what happened next? Lei Jun replied, then I started lifting weights. First I lifted the millstones, and then I thought of a good idea. I took down a beam and inserted a millstone on each side to make a barbell. Lifting it was very satisfying and thorough. Lei Meng said speechlessly. I'm asking about the details of this secret realm clearance and the specific methods of dealing with these zombies. This is very important for the subsequent reincarnations. None of us is interested in how you lift weights. But I just kept lifting weights afterwards. I don't know anything else. Lei Jun said innocently. I just told you that my trip to the secret realm didn't actually play any role. I was just slacking off most of the time. After all, I was infected with corpse poison at the beginning, so I could only lift weights like crazy. As for how I passed the secret realm, I passed it by lifting weights, and I don't know the details. Lei Meng. Everyone looked at each other and saw the speechlessness in each other's eyes. So what this guy just said was not modesty, but the truth. Chapter 13 A Great Harvest. It can't be said that it has no effect. Everyone was silent for a long time. Feng Hanshan said slowly, at least we know how to solve the corpse poison. This greatly reduces our subsequent sacrifices. I heard that this secret realm was mistaken for an ordinary secret realm, so only 2 reincarnations entered. There were no casualties, which is a good thing. And if the zombie poison has spread to a radius of 100 miles, we must clear this secret realm as soon as possible. Otherwise, once the secret realm invades reality, those zombies will appear in the real world. If they are not handled properly, it may cause turmoil in our entire China. Li Shujin asked, I just don't know who this Abin is. According to Mr. Lei Jun, he seems to have cleared the killing level secret realm alone. Mr. Lei Jun just played, an auxiliary role. That's right, we don't have any other ideas. We just want to get more information about the new red killing level secret realm from him. This. Raymond was silent for a while. Knowing that he couldn't hide this, he sighed and said, Abin is not as amazing as you think. In fact, his entry into the secret realm this time is just a routine, because this is his first time entering the secret realm. Oh. The first time entering the secret realm. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. If it's the first time, doesn't it mean that he is just an ordinary person? An ordinary person can pass the secret realm of the killing level? Feng Hanshan exclaimed. It's amazing. The killing level secret realm has always been handled by the saint level and the stronger extraordinary realm reincarnations. I didn't expect that a reincarnation who is not even a reserve can achieve such a record. I wonder where this Abin is now? Several people originally came just to explore the rules of the secret realm, but they didn't expect to hear something that interested them more. Raymond asked, Ajin. Lei Jun replied, he should have chosen to stay in the secret realm. The mission issued by the secret realm gave us 7 days. He killed the mission target the next day and did not choose to return. Could it be that he wanted to wait for 7 days? In that case, let's wait for a few days. Then please ask Director Lei to release the information of the secret realm. We must arrange a new reincarnations to enter as soon as possible. 7 days is still okay, but longer time is not possible. Then wait a while. Goodbye. Everyone saw that there was no more useful information from Lei Jun except lifting weights. At the moment, they all said goodbye. But they already had their own calculations in their hearts. A person who has completed the killing level mission without any enhancement. This means that he has at least obtained a B level merit, plus a sufficient amount of reincarnation points. In the past, when reincarnations really made their own names, they basically had their own fixed enhancements. Which organization is recruited is a rule that everyone follows. But this reincarnationist has already shown his talent and brilliance in his first reincarnation experience, and more importantly, he has not yet been strengthened. This means that he does not belong to any organization at present, and he can also belong to any organization. It seems that I have to have a good talk with the president. K88 smiled, turning his head to look at Feng Hanshan and Li Shujin. He knew that everyone had the same idea at this moment. Raymond sighed. This is really a surprise. But at least, if Lin Bin is really not the extraordinary person we expected, then our previous move will undoubtedly recruit another talent for the Reincarnation Association. Zukan smiled and said, is this a pleasant surprise? Yes. Zukan sighed and sighed. It's a pity that the secretary we just hired. I have to write my own report again. Inside the secret realm. Taoist Simu was dressed in a Taoist robe, and it seemed that he had quite a bit of Taoist style. He laughed and said, "Look at the sword." As he said that, the golden sword in his hand burst into light, and several zombies around him were instantly hit by the sword and fell to the ground. They no longer had any fierce aura, and were no longer any different from ordinary corpses. The record was amazing. Taoist Simu sighed distressedly, looking at the small short sword in his hand, and sighed, "Alas, the golden sword is still not suitable for me. I'm really heartbroken to kill a zombie with this sword. This is all money." As he said that, he threw the golden sword into Lin Bin's hand. Lin Bin said, "I feel distressed. I have seen you fight these days. That's because no one gave me money. Otherwise, I would definitely make a lot of money by catching these zombies alive. Now I finally understand why Master passed the golden sword to my senior brother instead of to me. I feel relieved when I heard you say that." Lin Bin put away the golden sword. He was really worried that Taoist Simu would be greedy, but unexpectedly, Taoist Simu valued Uncle Jiu more than expected. Therefore, he also valued Lin Bin, the only successor of Uncle Jiu, unexpectedly. Although he knew that Lin Bin had been following him to help clear the zombies around him in order to learn his Taoist skills, he did not hide his knowledge and really began to teach him the art of summoning spirits. After all, if it weren't for Lin Bin, he would have died in the hands of Old Master Ren sooner or later, and there would be no chance of luck, even if it was a way of repaying a favor. In his opinion, he and Lin Bin were from the same school after all. Although the art of summoning spirits was his secret art, teaching it to Lin Bin was not considered as passing it on. Although Old Master Ren was dead, the mission had been completed. But for this secret realm, if the zombies around were not cleared, they would eventually radiate outwards until the whole world became a zombie kingdom. At that time, once they invaded reality, it would probably have a great impact on reality. Taoist Simu worked hard to clear the zombies, which gave Lin Bin a lot of practice opportunities. To put it bluntly, it was to first warm up a breath, stimulate it with spirit in the body, and burst this energy to the limbs and bones, thereby showing a powerful force. Although it is a secret technique, it is quite simple to say. Therefore, although Lin Bin has not mastered it in just a few days, he has understood the key points. What he needs next is more practice. Lin Bin naturally has his considerations for choosing to follow Taoist Simu. He already knows this world very well, and with the popular science of Taoist Simu, he has also supplemented some details. Lei Chun has heard that, if the level of the task is completed high enough, not only the reincarnation space, but also the World Supervision Bureau will give rewards, which can be regarded as double experience. Lin Bin believes that his evaluation in the secret realm should not be low, but he also wants the reward from the World Supervision Bureau. In addition, he has too many clues, and it is not appropriate to throw them all out in just one day. Simply stay a few more days, so that the reason will be more sufficient. And you can also learn from Taoist Simu, which is simply killing two birds with one stone. The biggest disadvantage is probably that the golden money sword may be embezzled by Taoist Simu, but if it is really embezzled, Taoist Simu will definitely give compensation, which is not too bad. But I didn't expect that Taoist Simu was too greedy for money, and the golden money sword was an invincible weapon for zombies. Naturally, he rejected it. Or was it just a reason? He thought that his senior brother's only successor was too useless, so he taught him carefully. Whatever the reason, these few days were extremely fulfilling for Lin Bin. The harvest was naturally full. Chapter 14 Return. 7 days passed in a flash. When the reincarnation table popped up a notification again. The time limit has expired. Do you want to return? Lin Bin sighed silently and looked at the Taoist Simu who was bathing leisurely in the river. They had just cleared a wave of zombies and were covered in blood. Although Taoist Simu invited him to bathe in the river with him, Lin Bin was too reluctant to rub the back of another man, so he declined. "Thank you for these days, uncle," he said softly and chose yes. The next moment, a space crack as tall as a person appeared in front of him, standing in the air. "Hey, this way of returning is novel. I thought it was a light column returning," Lin Bin muttered, stood up and stepped into it. At the same time, the sound of the reincarnation table rang in his ears. The experience of the reincarnator Abin has ended, and the secret realm rewards are being calculated. The evaluation of the secret realm experience is A. The task reward is increased by 150%, and a B level merit and 3000 reincarnation points are obtained. Obtained the B level secret realm weapon, the golden money sword. Do you want to spend 800 reincarnation points to bring it back to the real world? If you choose no, you can exchange it for 500 reincarnation points. Golden money sword, B-level plot weapon, a weapon specifically used against evil monsters. It has no killing power against humans and all creatures, but it has a strong restraining effect on monsters and evil spirits, and those who touch it will die. Obtain the D-level secret realm item, the compass. Do you want to spend 400 reincarnation points to bring it back to reality? If you choose no, you can exchange it for 200 reincarnation points. Compass, D-level plot item. It can sense all evil spirits within a radius of 50 meters, but because there is only one pointer, when there are many evil spirits around, it can only sense the strongest one. Obtain the D-level secret realm weapon, the Desert Eagle Shura. Do you want to spend 200 reincarnation points to bring it back to reality? If you choose no, you can exchange it for 100 reincarnation points. Desert Eagle Shura, D-level plot weapon, hero level weapon, reaching the ultimate lethality of pistol type weapons. The sharp gun blade is the only choice for performing gunfighting. What? Desert Eagle Shura is also a secret realm weapon I obtained? This is a gift from Brother Lei. Linbin couldn't help but screamed. It costs money to take secret realm items out. Although it was sudden, he was somewhat mentally prepared. If you don't take advantage of the wool, you will lose it. But Desert Eagle Shura is a weapon given to him by Lei Jun for self-defense. He actually has to spend 200 reincarnation points to take it out. The reincarnation table is just a dead object, so it naturally won't answer. Instead, Linbin reacted quickly. Could it be that the reincarnation table first detects his state when he enters the secret realm, then detects his state when he leaves the secret realm, and then deducts it? If so, if he wants to rob others in the future, he can only do it in the real world. To do it in the secret realm, he has to pay a lot of reincarnation points. Could it be that this is to prevent internal strife among reincarnations in the secret realm? It was also painstaking. After a moment, the settlement was completed. Reincarnation, Abin, level, apprentice, merit, B-level merit x1, reincarnation points. 1600 points, weapons, B-level weapon golden money sword, D-level long range weapon Desert Eagle Shura, enhancement, none, skill, God's Descent, unfinished, item, D-level item compass, the harvest was rich. And there was an additional skill of God's Descent. Linbin immediately understood that the reincarnation table could only detect external objects, but could not detect the illusory knowledge learned in the secret realm. Therefore, the learning cost effectiveness inside the reincarnation space is actually the highest. After the settlement was completed, the chaos in front of him gradually returned to clarity. There began to be a noisy noise around, accompanied by the harsh honking of cars. Someone yelled, "Are you trying to scam me by suddenly running into the middle of the road? Do you know that, if my car didn't have an automatic sensing brake function, you would have been crushed to death by me now?" Linbin looked back. The bald man driving the Land Rover made eye contact with Linbin, and couldn't help shuddering. You know, Linbin had just killed hundreds of zombies under the leadership of Taoist Simu, and you know, that zombies are all transformed from humans. Although Linbin's actual combat ability might be killed by the bald man in seconds, facing the look that seemed to be looking at a corpse, the bald man immediately became timid, and his loud scolding suddenly turned into a dissatisfied whisper, and then turned the steering wheel to bypass Linbin. "Excuse me, is this Mr. Linbin?" Several medical staff in white coats came up to him, and the leader was about 30 years old. He looked like a middle-aged elite. He said respectfully, "You finally came out of the secret realm. We have been waiting for you here for 6 days. I'm Nizeng, the exclusive doctor of the Reincarnation Association. Are you injured? We have prepared sufficient glutinous rice. If you are injured, we can detoxify you in time." Linbin shook his head and said, "No, I'm not injured." "Then do you mind if I help you check your body?" Seeing Lin Bin's surprised eyes, Dr. Nee explained, this is a custom of the reincarnationists. First, it is to prevent the reincarnationists from suffering any hidden injuries that they are not aware of. Second, the situation in each secret realm is different. It is not that there has never been a case of reincarnationists being controlled by aliens. Therefore, every time a reincarnationist enters a secret realm for training, we need to cooperate with the inspection and treatment. Okay. Lin Bin cooperated very well. He took the initiative to open his hands. The doctor thanked him, took out the instrument, and began to draw blood for Lin Bin for on-site testing to check various physical indicators. While checking, the two medical staff exchanged glances and saw the shock in each other's eyes. This guy is just an ordinary person, without any enhancements at all. Except for being better than others in some aspects, there is nothing special about him. Dr. Nee was surprised and said, did you really pass the killing level secret realm by your own efforts? Lin Bin said modestly, after all, I'm a newcomer, and I'm not sure what level this secret realm is. But I heard from Lei Jun that this is indeed a killing level secret realm, and I'm not alone. I'm in a team with Lei Jun. By the way, may I ask if Lei Jun has come out? Yes. He returned 6 days ago and is now receiving treatment at the Reincarnation Exclusive Hospital. Also, Director Lei asked you to go to the World Detection Bureau as soon as you return. The Reincarnation Space Association has planned to send reincarnators into this secret realm as soon as possible, so you need to provide as much information as possible. I understand. Lin Bin thought to himself, is there no one who can call the name of the World Fragment Early Warning Alarm Detection Bureau? Please get in the car, we will take you there. Thank you. Lin Bin thanked him and got in the car. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart that the reincarnationists are indeed a profession that everyone aspires to. There is such a large team working for them behind the scenes. This is no different from being a big star. The car drove towards Beishu City. A few hours later, Lin Bin stepped into the door of the World Supervision Bureau again. It's just that the last time he came in, he was almost invisible. But this time, he had just entered the door and was greeted by almost all the staff. Abin, why did you come back so late? Zukan hurried out and saw Lin Bin. She couldn't help but brighten her eyes. She had an admiring smile on her face and said, come with me. The killing level secret realm appeared in the downtown area. We must suppress it as soon as possible. But Lei Jun, that bastard, actually spent the whole time in the secret realm and knew nothing except glutinous rice. We need your help to get the report out quickly. Lin Bin smiled and asked, okay, Miss Zhu, if you can collect enough information, will there be extra rewards? Zukan was stunned for a moment and a thoughtful look appeared on her face. She said, it seems that you have gained a lot this time. Lin Bin smiled but said nothing. Zukan smiled and said, you are already a formal reincarnation. If you can provide enough information, you can indeed get extra rewards from the World Supervisory Bureau. It's hard to say what it is, but I can promise that I won't let you down. With Miss Zhu's words, I feel relieved. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 True Double Experience. Zombie characteristics. Born from the resentment and foul air of heaven and earth, immortal, and abandoned by the three realms of heaven, earth, and man, and excluded from the six paths of sentient beings. They are invulnerable to swords and guns, and are not susceptible to water or fire. They are extremely difficult to kill with conventional methods. Zombie levels. Purple zombie, white zombie, green zombie, hairy zombie, flying zombie, incorruptible bones, crouching corpse, wandering corpse. For specific level descriptions, please refer to the notes. Things that zombies fear: sunlight, paper talismans, glutinous rice, black dog blood, inkline, black donkey hoof, rooster blood, boy's urine, peachwood sword. The older the peachwood sword, the greater the lethality it can cause. As the zombie level increases, its restraint will also decrease. Lin Bin was writing, Behind him, Raymond, Zukan and others were watching carefully. Their faces became more and more solemn as Lin Bin wrote. Especially as Lin Bin began to write notes at the back, clearly marking the external manifestations of each level of zombies. The detailed content made both of them amazed. A report of 20,000 words. Lin Bin was so tired of writing by hand that he turned to typing on the computer. After printing out all the information, he handed it to Raymond. Raymond's hands were shaking. He said solemnly, "Thank you very much, Lin Bin, because the information you provided will avoid great sacrifices in the future." Zukan praised sincerely, "It's amazing. In the past, it would take 5 or 6 waves of reincarnationists to enter in order to dig out so much information. Especially this detailed. It would be impossible to do it without sacrificing more than a dozen reincarnationists. But you went there by yourself and got so much. Is this why you deliberately stayed in the reincarnation space for several days?" Lin Bin nodded, thinking that it was indeed the right choice to stay in the secret realm for a longer time. It is still necessary to hide one's shortcomings appropriately. Raymond said in a deep voice, "May I ask how you did it? I heard from Lei Jun that the skin and bones of those zombies are extremely hard. Even he has to use all his strength to blow their heads off. I know Lei Jun's ability. It's not that good, but his absolute strength is definitely invincible in the extraordinary realm." Lin Bin explained. "After Brother Lei was bitten by a zombie, I realized that if zombies are really invincible, then that world would have been occupied by zombies long ago. How could humans still exist? So I concluded that zombies must have a nemesis, and the facts proved that my speculation was correct. By chance, I met a Taoist priest named Jiu Shu who was dying. In order to save people, he was ambushed by zombies and poisoned. It was useless to rescue him, so he asked me to kill him to prevent him from turning into a zombie. The money sword and the compass were entrusted to me before he died." Raymond nodded approvingly and said, "Taoists restrain zombies? And the money sword is a weapon used by Taoists. It can reach level B and its lethality must be extraordinary. Did you kill the zombie named Ren with this sword?" Although Lin Bin said it simply, but in his opinion, Lin Bin dared to go out alone to explore the situation when there were thousands of zombies around. If he died in this situation, it must be reckless and brainless, but Lin Bin not only survived, but also achieved great results, turning the impossible into possible, which is bold and careful. Yes, after I cremated Uncle Jiu, I knew that he must have companions, so I took the risk to find Uncle Jiu's junior brother, Taoist Simu, and with his help, I killed Old Master Ren with the golden money sword. Later, in order to obtain more information, I stayed with Taoist Simu, and all this information was obtained from him during this period of time. All of them were the truth. Lin Bin did not lie throughout the whole process. It was just because he knew the plot, so he chose the path with the least risk. But this risk was ridiculously large in the eyes of Raymond and others. Because in their eyes, Lin Bin walked dozens of miles alone in the crisis of zombies everywhere without any information, and successfully found his target. Sure enough, Lin Bin had already found that Zukan looked at him with some appreciation. Raymond also exclaimed, "With this information, it seems that the danger of this zombie secret realm is much lower than we thought. It is only because of its uniqueness that it is evaluated as a killing level secret realm." Zukan said, "Yes, if we don't know this information, even if a saint level reincarnationist enters it, there may be a risk of being killed. This kind of zombie requires too much targeting. From this point of view, the information obtained by Abin is more precious than we thought." Lin Bin asked, "Unique? Is this secret realm very unique?" Zukan explained, "You are a newcomer and don't know the ins and outs of this. The level of the secret realm is generally determined according to its difficulty, but there are also some rigid rules. For example, the strength of monsters and demons is terrifying, and what's more terrifying is their strange abilities that are hard to guard against. Even low-level monsters are likely to kill some high-level reincarnations. So over time, the reincarnation space has a rule that any world where monsters and demons appear will be ranked at least in the killing level secret realm. It seems that zombies are also recognized by the reincarnation table as belonging to the monster series. So that's it." Lin Bin suddenly realized. But with this information, the difficulty of the zombie secret realm will not reach the killing level. Raymond said, Zukan, you immediately give the information to Feng Qingshan, the president of the Supernatural Association, and ask him to arrange for the reincarnations to enter the secret realm. We must continue to complete the task as soon as possible to curb the expansion of the secret realm. Although the difficulty of the zombie secret realm does not reach the killing level, once it expands, its harm may exceed the killing level and be comparable to the nightmare level. It is a crisis that is enough to threaten the foundation of our country. Understood. Zukan took the information and said, Abin, I will drive you home after get off work. After that, she ran away quickly. Raymond looked at Linbin and forced a smile on his hard face, looking like a perverted killer. He said, Abin, this is the first time we meet officially, right? Linbin said, yes, Director Lei. Don't be nervous. I also want to thank you for saving Xiaojan's life. I'm his eldest brother. You saved my brother, which means you saved me. In this sense, I still owe you a favor. Raymond smiled and said, I asked you to stay, mainly because of your reward. I checked your settlement records, and you got an A-level evaluation. Whether it is a secret realm or the World Monitoring Bureau, you have done very well, better than any of us imagined. So I want to ask you, have you decided which reinforcement route to choose? Reinforcement route. Why, you don't want to keep the B-level merit for a younger one, do you? Raymond made a self-proclaimed funny, but actually a stiff joke. Linbin said, I may need to learn more about it before considering it. I'm sorry, Director Lei. I just became a reincarnation for 3 days and I went directly to the secret realm. Now I just came out, and I don't even know what the strengthening routes are. Okay. Raymond smiled and said, after all, we are just an institution, and are not qualified to reward you with merits and reincarnation points, but I can apply to the top in the name of the World Monitoring Bureau for Secret Realm material rewards, and the upper limit of its value is equal to the rewards you get in the secret realm, so that it can be counted as your reward. How about it? Linbin nodded without hesitation and said, no problem. Doesn't this mean that the B-level merits are directly multiplied by 2? Only a fool would disagree. He said, oh right, that Desert Eagle Shura. Raymond said, Lei Jun asked me to tell you something. He can't use that gun, so I'll give it to you as a reward for saving his life. Thank you, Director Lei. Thank you, Lei Jun. Take a day off and go see him tomorrow. Now that you've become a reincarnationist, you'll have to team up with reincarnationists from all walks of life in the future. Make more friends, and you'll find that these are very useful in the future. These words are already a little bit of a reminder, but it seems that being protected by your own boss is not a bad thing. Linbin smiled and nodded, saying, yes, I've recommended it. Please read and recommend it. Please collect it. Oh. Chapter 16 Waiting for a Price. Get off work at 5 o'clock. But Zukan came back at 4 o'clock and took Linbin to leave work early. Linbin had been thinking about how to get the most benefits in the secret realm before, but after coming out, he couldn't help but start to worry about Linzu. He hypocritically said that this was not good and whether the director would be angry. No. Then he agreed reluctantly. First, he went to the hospital to see Lei Jun and said a few words of concern. Then he went home in a sports car. When Linbin got out of the passenger seat of the luxurious sports car, the eyes of the neighbors around him suddenly widened. Linbin's parents were also quite capable people back then, and they managed their small family of 4 well. Now the old street is a slum, but 20 years ago, this was a veritable prosperous section. It's just that with the development of Baishu City, the really rich people have moved to new areas. The 2 orphans, Linbin and Linzu, who were left behind, naturally became the target of gossips by the old men and women. It was nothing. Seeing the once high-ranking rich young masters and young ladies in trouble was enough to make them satisfied. It was just that they didn't expect that he would now be riding in a sports car. Whether he was kept or made some rich friends, it was certain that he had some outstanding qualities. Those who saw this scene whispered and talked, muttering, could it be that he hooked up with some rich young lady with his looks? Zukan got out of the car and joked, how about it? Does this count as giving you face? Linbin said indifferently, why should I care about their attention? Unless I rot in the mud and never get up again in this life. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's impossible to make these people completely satisfied. Zukan sighed. Indeed, truly rich people work hard enough. They don't have time to envy those who are better off than themselves. Not only is this place poor, but people's hearts are also terrible. Linbin said, you're right, maybe I should consider moving. There's not even sunshine here, and the environment is too humid. Zukan was confused and said, then my rent. What does my moving have to do with you? Linbin looked at him in surprise and said, you should continue to live here. I'm just planning to move. I'm not going to drive you away. Zukan. The reason I didn't move before was because of the money issue. Although there is enough money left, the risks that may be encountered in the future must be considered, especially since Linbin has been saving money for Linzu's treatment. Although it is not realistic to cure her legs, regular maintenance can prevent her muscles and nerves from atrophying, and she can always maintain a glimmer of hope. But now, Linbin has more than 1,000 reincarnation points in his hand. If he wants, he can use so many reincarnation points to exchange for a huge sum of more than 3 million. In addition, he has cultivated strong confidence in this reincarnation space. Even if he uses the small treasury, he doesn't have to worry. Although the rent must be expensive if he wants to live in a better environment. But when Linbin returned home and saw Linzu sitting in her room with only half of her pretty face bathed in the faint sunlight, he immediately made up his mind. No matter how expensive it is, he will rent it. When he makes money in the future, he will sell this place and buy a community house with complete supporting facilities. At least the greening of the community can let Linzu see some green, instead of facing the cement-cast vegetable sink, the rusty stair handles outside, and the old door with mottled wood grain all day long. Linbin returned. After a whole week of separation, Linzu also showed a rare smile of joy, especially after touching Linbin for a long time to make sure that he was not hurt at all. She also visibly let out a long sigh. That night, Linbin went out to buy some cooked food for the first time and made a few light vegetarian dishes. Cucumber scrambled eggs, steamed seasonal vegetables, and blanched bitter melon slices. The meat dishes were all Linbin's favorites, and the vegetarian dishes were all Linzu's favorites. He also specially opened a jar of the top scholar red that his father left behind, which was said to be used for his wedding. Then he specially invited Zukan to come down for dinner. In any case, she introduced the job of the reincarnationist. Maybe she had ulterior motives, but it was an indisputable fact that she helped him. Many things are really judged by deeds rather than by heart. For this reason, Linbin owed her a huge favor. After learning that it was Zukan who helped introduce the job, Linzu also seriously toasted her a glass of wine. It was just a light sip. After that, I watched Linbin and Zukan chatting the whole time. But as they were chatting, the topic turned to Linzu. Moving? Linzu was surprised. We live well in our own house. Why do we have to rent a house? It's mainly because it's a bit far from where I work. I either have to buy a car or we have to move, so that it's convenient for commuting. Linbin didn't say it was for Linzu directly. Of course, if he said that, she would definitely refuse. He said, if we buy a car, we don't have enough money. And you know that in this old street, you can't find a parking place at night. So I plan to find a house with a large balcony near where I work and rent it for the time being. This way it will be convenient for me to go to work, and you can also bask in the sun and look at the scenery. The elevator apartment can also go out for a walk. It's the best of both worlds. It's convenient for both of us. It involves work, and the reason is so sufficient. Linzu said worriedly, but the rent of that kind of house must be very expensive, right? Miss Lin, don't worry. Although I introduced Abin to this job, he is outstanding and capable beyond my expectation. Not only our director is optimistic about him, but even several other departments are very concerned about his work ability. I believe he will be invited to join other departments soon. Linzu said in surprise, so, there is no need for high altitude work. High altitude work. Zukan was stunned for a moment, and then reacted. Has he already prepared for the possibility of his encountering an unexpected event? Thinking about it, she looked at him with a little more appreciation. Although still very immature, the little boy in front of her is really tough like a real man. She nodded and said, "It is true that there is no need for high altitude work." He obtained B-level merit at the beginning, and his starting point was much higher than that of ordinary reincarnations. Zukain could already imagine what kind of storm this sweet cake would cause. She saw the fiery eyes of those people at the beginning. Who wouldn't be excited about this kind of talent who passed the killing level copy as an ordinary person? Thinking about it, she smiled and said, "Abin, then you can sell yourself at a high price without any scruples, and maybe you can even get a lot of benefits." Now that Lin Bin's safety has been confirmed, then, the World Supervision Bureau, a place where only reincarnations who make mistakes will be demoted, is obviously not suitable for him to stay. I suggest that you decide the department you want to join, based on the path you want to take in the future, so that you can complement each other, and give yourself a real boost, understand? She suggested. Lin Bin said, "I don't quite understand." "It doesn't matter, you will understand soon." Chapter 17 Update Notes plus request for recommendations and monthly tickets. It is not appropriate to update too much during the period of a new book, but it does not feel right to update twice a day like a dead fish, so let's set a standard for adding more chapters. One chapter will be added for every 100 monthly votes, one chapter will be added for every 5,000 recommended votes, and one chapter will be added for every 20,000 Kidian coins and rewards. In addition, I beg for recommended votes and monthly votes. Chapter 18 Take advantage first and talk later. That night, Lin Bin was a little drunk. It was because he had been in a heavy mood since he came to this world. Until now, he had found some confidence of his own. "I can use my ability to let my sister live a good life." Under this joy, he couldn't help but drink 2 more cups. After cleaning up the kitchen, Lin Zhu took a simple bath and went to bed early. Her legs were inconvenient, and some things that were simple for ordinary people required a lot of energy and physical strength for her. Therefore, her energy was never enough. Lin Bin lay on the bed, but he was not sleepy at all. Instead, he took out his mobile phone and logged into the Reincarnation app. B-level merits cannot be traded. Since there are such precious things, they must be transformed into their own strength as soon as possible. The Reincarnation app is divided into 5 modules. They are the Forum Exchange Area, Personal Friend Area, Secret Realm Team Area, Secret Realm Item Trading Area, and Reincarnation Space Exchange Area. Lin Bin clicked on the Reincarnation Space Exchange. In an instant, rows of options were listed. Most of them were unheard of, but there were also many that he was very familiar with. A coin, a sea-level secret realm item. When the enemy is targeting you with a firearm, throw this coin and say, "I bet your gun has no bullets," to force the enemy's weapon to jam and be unable to fire. To exchange, you need a D-level merit and 500 reincarnation points. Soul Catching Knife, a sea-level secret realm item. Use this knife to pin the enemy's shadow and make the enemy unable to move. To exchange, you need a D-level merit and 300 reincarnation points. Obedience Agent, a B-level secret realm item. After taking the Obedience Agent, you cannot refuse any request from others. The effect lasts for 30 minutes. To exchange, you need a C-level merit and 1000 reincarnation points. What kind of mess is this? It seems very messy, but it seems very useful. Unfortunately, it is useless to Lin Bin. Lin Bin flipped through the category of exercises. As expected, he found a lot of exercises, including some that he was familiar with. 5 Tigers Breaking Door Knife. It comes from an adventure level secret realm. It is the best choice for people who practice knives. The knife skills are fierce and sharp, like a tiger falling to the ground, with amazing momentum. To exchange, you need a D-level merit and 500 reincarnation points. 8 Trigram's Wandering Dragon Palm. It comes from an adventure level secret realm. It is the best choice for people who practice palms. The palm skills are fierce and sharp, like a demon dog crying, with unparalleled power. To exchange, you need a D-level merit and 600 reincarnation points. Lin Bin thought about it. The killing level produces B-level merits, so the adventure level produces C-level, and the ordinary level should be D-level. In other words, in theory, after a reincarnation has experienced a secret realm trial, if everything goes well, you can exchange these basic skills. Lin Bin chose C-level or above. The choices he saw were naturally much more magical. The great compassion of yin and yang and the conquest of heaven and earth, a B-level technique, from an adventure level secret realm. It contains 7 kinds of evil and cruel martial arts, and is the supreme martial arts of the demon cult in the secret realm. It is said that on the day the book was completed, blood rained from the sky, ghosts cried at night, and the person who wrote the book also vomited blood and died. To exchange it, you need 1 B-level merit and 3000 reincarnation points. Hero, a C-level secret realm item, from an adventure level secret realm, an artificial intelligence robot that can learn independently, can serve as a bodyguard and a pet, and can also assist in data calculation. It is the only choice for strengthening the technology route. To exchange it, you need 1 C-level merit and 1500 reincarnation points. No wonder director Raymond is so optimistic about me. It turns out that my starting point is so much higher than that of ordinary people. No one can understand better than Lin Bin how big the gap is between the great compassion of yin and yang and the conquest of heaven and earth and the 5 tigers soul-breaking knife. Especially, reincarnation points can be obtained through transactions, but merits must be earned in the secret realm. Listening to Raymond's tone, the zombie secret realm is actually not strong enough to be a killing level secret realm. It is only because zombies are defined as demons and monsters that they are forced to become a killing level secret realm. But in fact, even if it is not difficult enough to be a killing level secret realm, the danger of the zombie secret realm has far exceeded Lin Bin's imagination. The reason why Lin Bin can easily break through the secret realm is entirely because he knows the plot very well and is very familiar with the weaknesses of these zombies before entering. Otherwise, even if it is a saint level reincarnation, once it is confronted with these zombies, it will be dead. It is not even enough to be a killing level. I really don't know how high the killing level is. Because of this, Lin Bin can better understand the preciousness of B-level merits. What's more, strictly speaking, he has obtained double B-level merits. This is even more precious. The first choice must be made carefully. Lin Bin looked at it for a long time. The secret realm has invaded reality for more than 100 years. Yuan Xing has accumulated rich experience and gained a lot of benefits. All of these benefits are reflected in the exchange area. Technology enhancement, magic enhancement, supernatural enhancement, martial arts enhancement, telekinesis enhancement, totem enhancement and many other enhancement systems. Lin Bin did not choose the enhancement route at the first time. One of his 2 B-level merits was a private promise from Raymond. If he wants to exchange it, he may need his nod. And this matter is too cautious and needs to be carefully considered. He browsed the forum area again. In the forum area, there are a lot of reincarnations speaking almost every moment. Various posts. Time is limited. Lin Bin just browsed around roughly, listening to many reincarnations complaining about the emergence of another emergency secret realm. Their vacation time limit is obviously enough, but they have to enter the secret realm urgently, and it is said that it is a super dangerous secret realm. Fortunately, this strategy is detailed enough. I believe it should be fine, etc. It should be the zombie secret realm. It was midnight before Lin Bin finally put down his phone and fell asleep. The next morning, he helped Lin Zhu prepare breakfast. Lin Bin went out to look for a house. He no longer had to worry about money. With more than 1,000 reincarnation points, he could convert funds at any time, so he could spend the tens of thousands of dollars in his family's small treasury at will. The location had to be good enough, the room had to be large enough, and the surrounding facilities had to be as perfect as possible. There had to be a passage for the disabled, etc. Lin Bin was very picky. It took him a whole morning to find a suitable one. The 18th floor. It didn't matter if there was an elevator or the view was better. The beautiful seams on the balcony were all peeled off by the sun, which showed how good the lighting was. There was also space for activities around the community, and every place had a slope for the disabled. The landlady was a beautiful woman in her 30s, surnamed Tang. It is said that her husband died early, and she only has a daughter who is in the first year of high school. She saw that Lin Bin was handsome, kind, and more concerned about the environment of the house than the rent. She immediately knew that the man in front of her should be young and rich. Her attitude improved a lot. The two signed the contract quickly. A 140 square meter 3-bedroom house, ready to move in. The size is just right. One of the 3 bedrooms is used to store sundries. Linbin lives in the secondary bedroom, and the master bedroom has an independent bathroom. After getting the permission of the landlady, Linbin plans to install a railing later. By then, Linzu will not rush to the bathroom every time for fear of delaying Linbin, which will result in accidental injuries. The rent is 25,000 yuan, which should have been 30,000 yuan. But the landlady saw that Linbin was easy to talk to, especially when she learned that Linbin had just graduated from high school not long ago. Although he did not take the college entrance examination, but scored more than 600 points in the mock exam, she took the initiative to reduce his rent by 5,000 yuan. The implication is that she plans to let Linbin help her daughter with homework in the future. Although Linbin only had a strength of 300 plus points, he still agreed without hesitation. If there is a bargain, take it first. In the afternoon, he took Linzu to move and pack her belongings. It took a whole day. It was not until after 6 o'clock in the evening that he received a call from Raymond. Straight to the point, he asked, "Why didn't you come to work today?" Linbin was confused. What? Didn't Miss Zhu say that she didn't have to go to work today? She's been sleeping at home. Lei Meng said coldly, "She's skipping work. Are you going to skip work too?" Linbin shouted, "I'll be there right away." "Forget it. It's time to get off work." Lei Meng said helplessly, "Come earlier tomorrow. You had guests today, and I waited for you all day. But now you've learned bad things from Zukan as soon as you started working." Linbin, I'm sorry. I really don't know. I'll go there early tomorrow morning." "It's okay. Although you've just started working, you're a new reincarnation after all. Especially with no foundation, there are many things you need to learn temporarily. So try to come earlier in the future. If you want to learn from her, you have to have her ability. Before you surpass her, it's always better to be honest, understand?" "Yes." Linbin nodded. Chapter 19. Have you considered the consequences of stealing someone from my boss in front of him? The pace of packing was accelerated. That night, everything was ready, and the two moved into the new house directly under Zukan's resentful eyes. She was ordered to monitor Linbin, but she didn't expect that, just after paying a year's rent, this guy ran away to rent a house. But on second thought, now that this guy's suspicion has been cleared, I should not have to live in this shabby place, right? Besides, the director gave Leo Duo a lot of activity funds, and there is still a lot left. Needless to say, it's time to eat steamed buns. She happily went shopping, intending to reward herself with a bag, to celebrate the completion of the task. The next morning, Linbin was awakened by the first ray of sunshine in the morning. When he got up, he saw Linzu sitting on the balcony that was 12 meters long and basking in the sun. Linbin's heart was suddenly filled with endless satisfaction. This money is worth it. Breakfast is ready. There are too many steps in the old house, which affects the movement. But it is flat here, and Linzu can do what she can. After breakfast, Linbin rushed to the World 20th Bureau quickly. The newly rented house was not far from the workplace. When renting a house, everything must be taken into consideration. 10 minutes later. "I'm sorry, Director Lei. I thought I really didn't have to go to work yesterday." I'm sorry. It's okay." Raymond's face was tightly tense. He said it was okay, but the stern look seemed to want to skin Linbin alive. He said, "I'm not angry. Theoretically, you have a few days off to recover, but the killing level secret realm has been delayed for several days. Although you have already got your information, some people are very interested in your experience. They want to see you, and the Desert Eagle Shura is in your hands, right?" "Well, yes." Linbin said, "I wanted to return it to Brother Lei, but he didn't want it. He said it was a reward for saving my life. The question is, can you masturbate?" Linbin was silent. "There are also the most basic fighting skills, which are what you need to learn. Zukan can be cunning and sly, because she is the strongest extraordinary reincarnation in the entire World Police Bureau except for me, and she is only one step away from entering the saint level. What makes you think you can do that?" Linbin said guiltily, "I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm strict with you, because you are a promising talent. If you are a waste like Lei Jun who only focuses on the shape of muscles every day, I won't have any objection, even if you don't come every day, understand? For talents, I will naturally take a closer look. Raymond said, and you have seen the fate of the waste. He is still lying in the hospital. He seemed to be full of resentment towards his younger brother. Lin Bin shouted, Director, I will definitely be on time in the future. Come with me first, meet a few guests, and then I will apply 4 bullets for you. You should practice shooting first. Don't be too anxious about strengthening. This is a matter related to your life. Think about it slowly. You can contact me at any time. Raymond walked in. Yes. Lin Bin's blood boiled. It was the first time he was scolded, and it felt so good. I'm a talent, so I get scolded. Following Raymond, he came to the reception room. There were already several people waiting in the reception room. One of them was a petite woman, who looked about 28 or 29 years old, with a bun, and looked very much like a sporty girl. Next to him, a young man with a flat head noticed his gaze, and nodded with a smile. There were 2 people sitting on the other side, a man and a woman. Abin, let me introduce you. This is Li Shujin, the leader of the Martial Arts Alliance, K88, the vice president of the Technology Enhancement Association, Li Qin, the messenger of the Ability Club, and Yi Wenming, the director of the Telekinesis Research Institute. Lin Bin was stunned. Yesterday, he had a quick look at the reincarnation forum. Naturally, he knew that the reincarnations were all under the management of the reincarnation space. But according to the different enhancements, there were also signs of group warmth. And now the people in front of him were undoubtedly senior figures in their respective fields. I didn't expect them to come here to see him. Especially among these people, there seemed to be some extraordinary people. He was surprised and said, President. K88 smiled and said, let me get straight to the point. The main purpose of this trip is to invite Abin to join our Technology Enhancement Association. In the future, we will work together to explore the secret realm together. Li Shujin smiled and said, we have the same idea in the Martial Arts Alliance. It is better to say that martial arts leads to gods. At present martial arts probably has the most enhancement routes among reincarnations. It can almost become the spokesperson for our Chinese reincarnations. You won't lose by choosing martial arts. Li Qin smiled sweetly and said, but no matter how strong martial arts is, its upper limit is limited after all. It is not as changeable as superpowers. Moreover, with Lin Bin's current capital, he can directly purchase LV4 enhancement liquid. By then, he may have a strength that is not inferior to that of extraordinary reincarnations. Superpowers that cannot be self-cultivated and can only be enhanced through enhancement will undoubtedly consume huge numbers of reincarnation points and merits in the later stage. This also needs to be considered. Yi Wenming adjusted his glasses, crossed his palms and smiled. Mr. Lin, you have amazing talent in the secret realm. I think you should seriously consider your future path. Telekinesis combines the solidity of martial arts with the unpredictable nature of supernatural powers. You can actually consider it. Lin Bin looked at Raymond in confusion. What's going on? I've suddenly become a popular person? But the problem is, don't I have an organization? You poached people in front of my leader. Are you afraid that he won't make things difficult for me? Raymond said with a cold face. Don't look at me like that. Most of the people recruited by the World Fragment Bureau are reincarnations with historical problems. You have a clean background and have proved your ability. You have also obtained B-level merit, but you haven't decided on your future path. It's too much of a waste for talents like you to stay in the World Fragment Bureau. They are all here to fight for you. I still say that. Decide your own strengthening route according to the path you want to take, and then choose the corresponding organization. They don't expect you to give an answer now. They are just showing goodwill. At the very least, make a good relationship. After all, the major organizations have cooperated with each other, right? K88 apologized. Sorry, I'm a robot, and don't understand the twists and turns of humans, so I speak more directly. I think everyone means the same thing, right? There's really no rush. I just came to see what someone who can break through the secret realm with the power of an ordinary person looks like. Li Shujin exclaimed. You can see that he is a handsome man, and you are so tall. Nonsense, I'm only 1.79 meters. No, only 1.8 meters. Leakin also said, you have just become a reincarnation. There are many things you need to get familiar with. Take your time. This killing level secret realm is just an accident. Slowly get familiar with the rules in the ordinary level secret realm in the future. They actually came here to win over Linbin. Or, if they were only considering his B-level merits before, then now, when the detailed information that usually requires the sacrifice of more than a dozen or even dozens of reincarnations is placed in front of them, they understand. This is definitely not something that can be obtained by luck. He must be controlled in their hands. At the very least, let him know how much they value him. If they can guide him to strengthen the same route as them, the benefits at that time will definitely be beyond imagination. Chapter 20. Physical salvation is also salvation. Monthly ticket plus. These people are all of high status. But they came here specially. It seems that they really just came to meet Linbin and make a good relationship. After saying hello, they did not continue to get in touch with him, but left quickly. Obviously, they all have their own things to do. It is enough to show their respect for a young hero. If they continue to flatter him to cultivate goodwill, people will say that they are not tasteful enough. Soon, there were only Raymond and Linbin in the huge living room. Raymond said, no matter what direction you plan to strengthen, basic training cannot be ignored. Our World Supervision Bureau has its own training camp. First, go for a long distance run of 10 kilometers, and then apply for 200 rounds of ammunition yourself. You are allowed to leave work only after you finish shooting. Do you understand? Yes. Linbin answered loudly. Paid training, but learning your own skills, such a good business. Linbin couldn't even touch it in his previous life, so he would naturally not be ignorant now. Run 10 kilometers first. If it was before, Linbin might not be able to run it. But in the previous 6 days in the secret realm, he followed Taoist Simu to kill zombies. The physical consumption was nothing to Taoist Simu, but to him, even the newly transformed purple zombies were boss level characters. Almost 6 days of sleepless nights laid a solid foundation for him. He barely ran 10 kilometers. Then he went to get bullets. Linbin knew his own business. It seemed that his previous dozen bullets all hit the right place. But Uncle Jiu's shot was actually off center. The shot aimed at the heart hit the shoulder. The bullet that hit Old Master Ren directly stuck the gun blade on his forehead and then scratched the plate. If he really let him shoot, the accuracy of this hero level pistol weapon 10 meters away would not be guaranteed. No matter how much he strengthened, these basics still needed to be trained. The training ground was very large. Various equipment and firearms, as direct killing weapons, were naturally highly valued. At this time during working hours, there were not many idle people in the training camp. Linbin took the bullets, put on the protective gear with the help of a professional assistant, was guided to take a standard posture, then raised the Desert Eagle Shura, and pulled the trigger at the moving target 50 meters away. Bang! It was off. Linbin did not panic, adjusted the direction, and continued to pull the trigger. In the training camp, the sound of bang 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 was endless. Change the magazine after shooting. Raymond asked him to take so many bullets. It was obvious that there was no time for systematic training. Although he still had 2 months, he could not train anything in 2 months. It would be better to form muscle memory. Use a lot of ammunition to exchange for experience. In other words, Linbin showed his value. Otherwise, even if he was one of his own, Raymond would probably not be willing to spend such a luxurious way. All the money spent was the funds of the World 20th Bureau. And just when most of the bullets were used up, a heavy voice suddenly rang in his ears, saying, "The gun. This is not how to shoot." Linbin turned back in surprise. A tall man with an extremely tall figure, wearing armor and holding a long sword stood quietly in the distance. No one knew when he appeared, and Linbin didn't hear any noise, especially since Linbin thought he was 1.79 meters tall. No, 1.8 meters tall was tall enough. But he didn't expect that the man in front of him was a head taller than him. Looking down, he looked like he was looking at a child. Linbin asked, "Who are you?" The man smiled and said, "I'm Fengqingshan, the president of the Supernatural Association." Fengqingshan? Linbin thought to himself, what a familiar name, as if I've heard it somewhere before. He asked, are you here to invite me to join the Supernatural Association? 2. If I wanted to invite you, I would have just joined them. I came here specially to thank you. Feng Qingshan smiled and approached, took the gun from Lin Bin's hand, raised his hand and posed, and said, combat experience is very important. You have entered the secret realm before, which means you have already defeated 80% of the reincarnations who have never experienced it. But there is no difference between holding a gun and holding a sword. Your hands must be steady and your eyes must be accurate. You can indeed achieve something by practicing this way, but if you want to do it faster, I suggest that, after you practice these bullets, go home and practice the gun holding posture. Don't stop even if your arm is swollen. Wait until the swelling is gone, then it will go away, and then it will swell again. After several cycles, your hand will be steadier than a gun. He smiled and said, I'm standing with a sword in my hand now. Water drops are dripping from the sword. The blade is smooth and could not get wet, but I can keep the water drops on the blade without shaking. It seems simple, but inside, there is a lot of knowledge involved. Thank you, President Feng, for your advice. Of course, I just said that I'm here to thank you. Feng Qingshan smiled and said, you may not know this, but just now, 6 reincarnations have entered the secret realm that you passed before. 3 of the 6 reincarnations are members of my psychic association. Because of your intelligence, they could have survived this time, but now, it's turned into a life or death situation. Shouldn't I thank you for them? You're not going to invite me? There's nothing to invite. Feng Qingshan smiled and said, I hold the Zuanian sword in my hand. I can kill gods and demons when I meet them, so I became the president of the Supernatural Association. But I'm a warrior myself, and under my command, there are also many technology enhancers and supernatural enhancers. We just want to transcend, but we don't care how to transcend. Physical transcendence is also transcendence, right? After reaching the killing level copy, most secret realms involve those supernatural things of gods and ghosts, so our supernatural association is different from them. They are divided by strengthening roots, and then cooperate with each other to pass the secret realm. Only the supernatural association only accepts strong people, because no matter which strengthening system, if it is strong enough, it can threaten ghosts and gods. So that's it. In other words, I'm not qualified. Lin Bin didn't feel disappointed. He had never been strengthened. He was just an ordinary person who couldn't be more ordinary. At this time, he had already remembered where he had heard the name Feng Qingshan. Sword God Feng Qingshan. As a warrior, he killed many demons and monsters. Even Yan Shiksha was created based on him. I came to see you mainly to thank you, and also to ask if there is any strengthening route you want. Feng Qingshan said, you don't know much about the reincarnation space. I'm here to help you popularize it, so as not to go the wrong way. Of course, I don't mean to make the decision for you. I'm just putting forward my own views as a senior. Lin Bin said, I don't have any good choices at the moment. Feng Qingshan asked, there are no good choices. In other words, all the current choices cannot satisfy you? What do you want? I like the strengthening of myself in martial arts, which makes me feel safe, but I also like the unpredictable nature of superpowers, which can make the enemy defenseless, and the AoE range attack of technology is also very reassuring. After all fear comes from insufficient firepower, and the attack and defense of telekinesis is also very tempting. But the problem is that martial arts is too gradual, superpowers cannot be strengthened autonomously, and technological strengthening itself is too fragile. Lin Bin asked, Feng Zia, you are an alien, right? Why do you say that? The clothes you are wearing, ordinary modern people don't wear them like this. Feng Qingshan laughed and said, indeed, I'm a warrior, and I lack the means to target ghosts and monsters. Although the Zuanian sword can kill demons and monsters, I also need to protect myself. This armor is also a powerful magic weapon. It was given to me by a Taoist master in the past. Taoist master? Lin Bin asked. I want to ask, why is there no cultivation in the enhancement mode? Feng Qingshan's eyes lit up when he heard this, and asked, you mean cultivation? Have you heard of cultivation? I heard a strange man mention it in the secret realm. Feng Qingshan laughed and said, little thing, you have a lot of ideas. You have laid so much groundwork. I'm afraid this is what you want to ask? Lin Bin sighed. There is no way. I have heard about this system in that killing level secret realm. It is said that there are strange people hidden in the mountains who can fly into the sky and hide in the ground, are immortal, have infinite magical powers, and can travel in the blue sea in the morning and rest in Kangwoo in the evening. I was tempted after listening to it. I originally wanted to choose this path, but who knew that when I came out, I found that there was no enhancement in this aspect at all. Your regret is what I also regretted when I first came here. Feng Qingshan also sighed with regret. The way he looked at Lin Bin was like looking at a fellow traveler. Last month, I only published books for a week, and there were only a few copies missing the 100 mark. We didn't take it too seriously, so we just added more. I hope everyone will vote for the monthly ticket and recommendation ticket in the new month, which will also help me increase exposure. Thank you. Chapter 21. First Exchange, The Secret of Immortality. Lin Bin laid a lot of groundwork to make his question less abrupt, but Feng Qingshan understood what he wanted to express very clearly. You know, after reading all the enhancements, especially browsing the forum, there are actually many enthusiastic reincarnationists who have launched special posts on the initial enhancement recommendations. All the enhancement routes are summarized, and then their advantages and disadvantages are included. The advantages are all good, and the disadvantages are also hard to accept. But only cultivating immortals should have no disadvantages. In other words, cultivating for too long is a disadvantage. But the problem is that lifespan is also increasing at the same time. The disadvantages are not so much like disadvantages, but have become advantages. But it's a pity that the various systems and magical items in the Yuanxing reincarnation space are all encompassing, but only lacking cultivation and magic weapons. As a Chinese in his previous life, Lin Bin has a fairy hero sentiment in his heart. In particular, he knows the plots of most fairy hero dramas. If you can cultivate immortals, there is no doubt that your starting point is much higher than other reincarnations. In my previous world, I actually also sought immortality and asked for the way. Feng Qingshan showed a look of regret on his face and said regretfully, when I was a martial artist in the past, I traveled around the world, but I found that the world was full of ghosts and gods. I wanted to use martial arts to enter the Tao and save the world, but I couldn't get in. Later, I climbed over the 5 famous mountains, Sichuan, Bashu and other places of interest. Most of the people I saw were those who sought fame and reputation, but I was lucky enough to see a few people with great supernatural powers. The Zuanian sword and the armor were given to me by them. Although I wanted to practice with them, I was told that I was too old, and it was impossible. He sighed. This world is invaded by countless broken world fragments. All the strengthening systems of our Yuanxing come from these fragments. When the fragments of my own world enter this world, I will slay demons and monsters for this new world. Over the years, I have found that the difficulty of the fragments invading Yuanxing is gradually increasing. Lin Bin's eyes lit up. That is to say, the reason why this world does not have a system for cultivating immortals is because the fragments invading our world are not strong enough. Feng Qingshan nodded and said, but it should appear sooner or later. But if I wait for the immortal cultivation system, won't I be enabled to choose other routes? Why not take my route? Feng Qingshan said, the technique I practice comes from the Daoist canon. Although I don't know the secrets of cultivating immortals, I think it's hard to escape from the Taoist theory. The reason they gave me was that I was too old, not that I already had true ki in my body, so I couldn't cultivate immortals. By the way, if you have time, you can go to the reincarnation space to buy those Taoist theories to read. Because they are not cultivation methods, the price is very cheap, but in fact, those things are very precious. When your vision reaches a certain height, you will understand what I mean. He said, and if you choose the Taoist technique like me, others only know that you have taken the martial arts strengthening system, but no one knows that you are actually laying the foundation for the system that may appear in the future. You can't lag behind in the early stage, and you can rise directly in the later stage. Thank you, Master Feng, for your guidance. Lin Bin suddenly came to his senses. Martial arts and Taoism are inseparable. If he wants to cultivate Taoism, he might as well cultivate martial arts first. But martial arts must not be cultivated randomly and must be related to Taoism. Do you need me to recommend a technique for you? No, I've already made my choice. Very good. It seems that you are a very opinionated person. Feng Qingshan laughed and said, I never thought that as an alien in an alien world, I could actually meet someone of the same mind. Come, add me as a friend. If you have any questions in the future, you can ask me. The words of adding a friend almost broke Lin Bin's defense. After a conversation with Feng Qingshan, he almost thought that he had traveled to ancient China. But now he was beaten back to Yuanxing in a minute. However, the other party was experienced, and Lin Bin did have a lot to learn from him, but he had little use for him. Adding a friend was simply to take care of the younger generation. The two of them left each other as reincarnation friends. Feng Qingshan sighed, I was just trying to express my gratitude and see what the legendary little genius of reincarnation looks like. I didn't expect that we hit it off right away. I've wasted too much time. I still have to go to the zombie secret realm to wait for my colleagues to pass through. Goodbye. Hello, Master Feng. Feng Qingshan laughed and said, everyone calls me President Feng. Your calling me Master Feng makes me dream back to 10 years ago. He turned and left. Lin Bin continued to raise his gun and aim at the target, but his breathing gradually became a little chaotic. After a detailed discussion with Feng Qingshan, he already had his own estimate in his mind. With his understanding of the plot, he can completely choose the method that is closest to the Taoist exercises, and based on his understanding of the plot, he can easily practice these exercises successfully. After all, the tricks are difficult for others, but not for him. But don't be anxious. Decisions made in a hurry are usually wrong. Breathe slowly and steadily. Calm your mind and shoot the remaining bullets. It's no wonder that the change in mentality also has benefits for the body. Later, basically no bullets missed the target, and the bullets all landed on the target. When he put down the gun, Lin Bin's arms were so sore that he could hardly lift them. Taking advantage of the rest time, he clicked on the exchange area of the Samsara space app and carefully selected them. After a long time, it was almost time to get off work. He went to find Raymond. When he heard Lin Bin's intention, Raymond asked, oh, have you thought about the strengthening route? Is it your own decision? Lin Bin nodded and said, yes, I already had the idea before, but I haven't confirmed it yet. But now, I just strengthened my previous opinion. Very good. Other people's opinions are too subjective. The road of reincarnation is long. If others make the decision, once you encounter difficulties, you will inevitably blame others, which is not good for your mentality. It's better to choose by yourself. Raymond asked, what do you want to choose? President Lei, I want to confirm that you promised me that you would give me a reward equivalent to a B-level merit, 1600 reincarnation points, in private, right? Yes. Okay, then, I want to split my B-level merit into 3 C-level merits, and then take one of the C-level merits, plus the B-level merit you promised me privately, and pay an extra 500 reincarnation points, plus the 1600 reincarnation points you promised me privately, in exchange for the art of immortality, the secret of immortality, B-level secret realm skills, suicide level secret realm, rumored to be one of the 4 great skills in the world. Exchange requires 1 B-level merit, 1 C-level merit, and 2100 reincarnation points. The price is not cheap. But in fact, for example, the exchange of skills such as the 9-yin manual requires 1 B-level merit plus 1800 reincarnation points. In comparison, the price of the secret of immortality is simply explosively cheap. After all, the 9-yin manual is only a transformation from acquired to innate, when it is cultivated to perfection. In comparison, the secret of immortality starts directly from innate, and the starting point is undoubtedly much higher than the 9-yin manual. The reason why its price is so cheap is entirely because you want to exchange for the secret of immortality? Raymond was stunned, and he said in surprise, you want to take the martial arts enhancement route. About the same. Naturally, there is no need to explain too much to Raymond. Well, although the upper limit of martial arts enhancement is not high, it is indeed very powerful in the initial stage, and it is very suitable for transition. It's just that the eternal life secret Raymond frowned and said, the cost effectiveness of this technique is actually very low. It was obtained by a saint-level reincarnationist from a killing-level secret realm. It is said that this technique has circulated in countless hands in the secret realm, but no one has been able to practice it successfully. He studied it privately for a long time, but to no avail, so he simply uploaded the technique to the reincarnation space in exchange for reincarnation points and merits. But in fact, this technique is full of loopholes. There was once a supreme level reincarnationist who exchanged for this technique, but even he failed. Although it cannot be practiced, it is after all known as one of the 4 great skills. Therefore, based on the difficulty of that world, the reincarnation space judged that this technique is of high value, so it gave such a high exchange price. In comparison, the cost effectiveness of the 9 yin scriptures and the 9 yang divine art, which can be exchanged for the same B-level merits, is much higher. Raymond was obviously very concerned about Lin Bin. Therefore, it was rare for him to talk so much. Unfortunately, Lin Bin failed his kindness. He nodded and said, but I want to try. I saw the introduction of this technique, and felt that it has a lot in common with the Taoist theory I got in the zombie secret realm before. Maybe I can use the theory in the zombie secret realm to successfully practice this technique. You will never know if you don't try. After trying, even if you fail, I will just return to the starting point of the normal reincarnation point. No, I'm much stronger than them because I still have 2 C-level merits. Okay, you already know what you should know, and you still choose it, then I respect you. Raymond nodded and said, I will hand over the technique to you tomorrow, and prepare the merits and reincarnation points. Yes. Also, do you need me to contact President Lee? No. Lin Bin said, I want to stay in the World 20th Bureau. Raymond was stunned when he heard this, and was more shocked than when he heard that Lin Bin wanted to exchange for the secret of immortality. He looked at Lin Bin deeply and said, Abin, do you understand what your choice means? Lin Bin smiled and said, I know. It means I can get paid training, I can be a salary thief, and I can also be absent during work hours. Everyone here speaks nicely. I like it here very much, so I don't want to leave. Good boy, you are beyond my expectations in every way. Raymond looked at Lin Bin deeply and said nothing more. He turned and left. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. Everyone is drunk, but I'm awake. Please read it later. Lin Bin chose to stay in the World Supervisory Bureau. Of course, it was not just because of Raymond's appreciation for him. More importantly, he had his own considerations. The reincarnationists in the World Supervisory Bureau were no different from normal reincarnationists on weekdays. They entered the secret realms and received the same rewards as normal reincarnationists. But once a new secret realm appeared, the reincarnationists of the World Administration Bureau would have priority to enter for judgment and exploration. It was very dangerous, but the rewards were doubled. If we summarize it in the professional terms of the game, it was probably the difference between an ordinary abyss and a very difficult abyss. The difficulty was much higher, but there would be correspondingly more generous rewards. But for Lin Bin, who had mastered the plot in advance, this secret realm that had not been spoiled by anyone was safer for him. So what reason did he have not to stay in the World Supervisory Bureau? Except that the name was a bit tongue-twisting, and he kept calling it wrong. Everything else was perfect. Especially Raymond obviously misunderstood that he was unwilling to leave because of their kindness. For this wonderful misunderstanding, Lin Bin was naturally not stupid enough to explain. Off work. Go home. At home, Lin Zhu was still basking in the sun on the balcony. After moving into this kind of commercial housing, the space seems to be much smaller than at home, but in fact our range of activities has been greatly increased. I don't know if it's an illusion, but Lin Bin saw that her face was much brighter than before. The meal is ready. The two siblings ate together. After eating, Lin Bin took the initiative to wash the dishes. Then he pushed Lin Zhu downstairs to the nearby big shopping mall and bought food for the next day. At night, He raised the gun and posed as if holding a gun, trying to adapt to the weight in order to exercise his stability. Very busy, but finally got the opportunity to improve his own strength. Lin Bin cherished this opportunity more than anyone else. It was not until 12 o'clock in the night that the sweaty Lin Bin took a shower, lay down on the bed, and fell asleep. It was 8 o'clock the next day when he woke up. After Lin Bin finished his breakfast, he looked at Lin Zhu helplessly and said, "Didn't we agree that I would make breakfast? By the time you get up and finish cooking, I'm afraid you'll be late. I also want you to sleep a little longer." Lin Zhu sat in a wheelchair and said, "Don't worry, I'll do what I can. I go to bed early, so I wake up early. It's understandable that young people like to sleep in. Thank you for your hard work, sister. Go to work." Lin Zhu chuckled and said, "I'll just wash the dishes. I don't have anything to do at home anyway." "Yes, madam." Lin Bin vaguely understood. Maybe seeing how busy he was every day, Lin Zhu wanted to try not to cause trouble for herself. He saluted as a joke, then ran outside to change into sneakers. He rushed out. Inside the World Supervision Bureau, Raymond had been waiting in the director's office on the top floor for a long time. Seeing Lin Bin knocking on the door with expectation, he said, "Come in." "Yes, director." Lin Bin stepped in and looked at Raymond's cold face. He vaguely understood that it might be normal for his boss to have a bad face, and his expression and mood were actually not connected. Raymond patted the box in his hand and said, "I have what you want. It is inside. Normal exchange is directly transferred to your reincarnation table, but because it is through the world administration, there is an extra procedure. You need to use the reincarnation table to unlock it. This is also to ensure the safety of the exchange process." "Thank you, director." Lin Bin went to take it, but was directly held by Raymond. Raymond said seriously, "Abin, think it through. This is what I exchanged for in the name of the World Supervisory Bureau. If you regret it now, I can still return it. I don't reject you to take the martial arts route. In fact, the reincarnations strengthened by martial arts are very strong in the early stage, and can also be of great help in the later stage. This kind of down-to-earth practice is more reliable than supernatural powers and technology. But I still recommend you to practice the 9 Yin Manual or the 5 Absolute Divine Art. They are all things that your B-level merits can be exchanged for. Many reincarnations have exchanged for these, which are completely worth the money. But if the Eternal Life Secret was not named as one of the 4 great merits, it would have been sent to the miscellaneous books of the Taoist canon long ago. It is not worth the price. Thank you for your reminder, director, but I believe in my own vision. Lin Bin took the box and scanned it with the reincarnation table. There was a slight sound. You have obtained the B-level secret realm skill Eternal Life Secret. You lost 1 C-level merit and 500 reincarnation points. Reincarnation, Abin level, apprentice merit, C-level merit x2 reincarnation points. 1100 points weapons, B-level weapon golden money sword, D-level long range weapon desert eagle Shura enhancement, none skill, Eternal Life Secret B-level, skill, divine descent, unfinished, item, D-level item compass. He spent most of the merit he earned in one go. Lin Bin did not regret it. Raymond recommended him to buy 9 Yin Manual because it was more cost effective. But for Lin Bin, 9 Yin Manual was like spending enough money to buy an item of equal value, which was not a loss, but also not a profit. However, Eternal Life Secret spent half of the funds and bought twice the items. Which one was a loss and which one was a profit? This is a matter of opinion. B-level? If 9 Yin Manual is B-level, then Eternal Life Secret is undoubtedly at least A-level. One is the unique Taoist learning created by Huang Shang after reading the Wanshao Daozang, and the other is the book left by Huang's teacher Guan Chengzi after reading the War God Atlas. It can be said that it summarizes the War God Atlas and Guan Chengzi's lifelong learning. The protagonists of the plot, Cao Zhang and Zhu Xiling, only need to practice 1 page each to become masters of the Grand Master level. Lin Bin got 7 pages. As for the problem that the Eternal Life Secret cannot be practiced, Lin Bin didn't take it to heart. You must know that the people who practice the Eternal Life Secret are not just Cao Zhang and Zhu Xiling. They also taught this skill to their adopted son Fang Lingshang, and Fang Lingshang taught the skill to Song's great-granddaughter Shang Yuling. This also proves that, although Xuanglong practiced the eternal life secret by chance, his success is not impossible to replicate. As long as you master the trick, anyone can practice the eternal life secret. And who knows the inner trick of this skill better than Linbin? Linbin asked, Director Lei, I want to ask how will my salary be deducted if I take a leave? No salary will be deducted, but the allowance for that month will be deducted. However, you have just returned from training, so theoretically you have half a month to recuperate. I understand. Thank you, Director Lei. Lei Meng said, if you have any questions, remember to contact me. Yes. Linbin turned around and left with the eternal life secret. When he went downstairs, he met a familiar figure. Abin, help me. He wailed and rushed forward. He seemed to want to hug Linbin's thigh, but he was too tall and too rough, so he threw Linbin to the ground. Lei Jun. At this time, he was crying and hugging Linbin's thigh, and he was reluctant to let go. For a while, Linbin couldn't struggle free. Chapter 23 I Live on the Wind. Lei Jun knocked him down. Linbin didn't show any signs of panic, although his muscles were twisted, and he looked like Billy. But unfortunately, he was crying and snotty at the moment, and it looked like he was the one who was knocked down. Linbin wanted to help Lei Jun up, but he tried hard and harder. In the end, he could only let him kneel down helplessly and asked, Brother Lei, what's wrong? If you need help, just tell me. Why do you have to do this? Abin, you have to help me. You really have to help me. You know I'm innocent. I'm not AFK. I'm poisoned. Lei Jun told Linbin about his grievances with snot and tears. To put it bluntly, it was still about AFK. The F-level evaluation is really a rip-off. It's okay to reduce the task reward, but leaving the evaluation in the resume is like a huge bad record. If I don't apply to revoke this F-level evaluation, I may not be able to form a strong team in the future, and I won't be able to speak confidently on the forum anymore, because others will use this to attack me. Listening to Lei Jun's unclear explanation, Linbin still quickly understood what he meant. To put it bluntly, although the reincarnation space is authoritative, it is not a one-man show. If you are not satisfied with the evaluation given, as long as all the reincarnations in this experience reach a consensus and file an appeal, then the evaluation can be revoked. And this time in the zombie secret realm, there are only 2 people experiencing it. Linbin's opinion is crucial. Oh, so that's how it is. Linbin suddenly stretched out his tone. Lei Jun immediately understood the meaning of the song and said respectfully, please tell me what you want to say. Please tell me what you want to do. Where is the best restaurant in Beishu City? Lei Jun was relieved and moved. Don't worry, Brother Abin, I will give you a membership in Zuai Lao, the highest level. You can go there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. He had a very good impression of Linbin. He said seriously, Abin, I have made friends with you. What's the point of eating in a restaurant? Let's go to my house tomorrow, and I'll let your sister-in-law show her skills. Then I won't be polite. After joking with Lei Jun, Linbin even helped him complete the appeal through the reincarnation table in front of him. Lei Jun left with peace of mind. And Linbin was also quite pleased. This is a Toguro brother enhancer. What a good meat shield. Linbin would not despise him for his poor performance. In fact, Lei Jun's strength is definitely strong enough, otherwise how could he lead newcomers in the reincarnation space? For Linbin, this is just a small episode. After returning home, he told his sister not to cook for him in the evening, and he wanted to practice in seclusion. Then, Linbin returned to his room. He took out the eternal life secret, and began to practice formally. Although Ai Meng's words at that time were just exhortations, Linbin heard a lot of meaning. For example, no one has ever successfully practiced the eternal life secret. That is to say, when the Xuanglong secret realm invaded Yuanxing, it was before the beginning of the plot, when the 2 protagonists had not yet made their fortunes. Then the eternal life secret was snatched away by the reincarnation. As a result, a technique that no one has ever successfully practiced, and seems to be a martial arts secret book, but is very different from a normal secret book, appeared. It seems that it can be practiced, but once practiced, the blood and ki will churn and go crazy. That is to say, the secret of immortality is known as one of the 4 great feats, and the reincarnators have heard of this name. Otherwise the secret of immortality would probably be relegated to the Taoist canon. But in fact, only Lin Bin knows the truth of the matter. It is natural that the secret of immortality is different from martial arts, because it has nothing to do with martial arts. It is actually a secret that integrates the mysteries of heaven and earth. Ordinary martial arts are to generate internal energy in the body, purify the internal energy into true energy, and then return from acquired to innate, step by step, following the rules. Even martial arts such as 9 Yin Manual and the magic of wedding clothes are all based on this theory. No matter how great the martial arts are, it is just that breaking through the barriers is much easier. But the secret of immortality runs counter to the methods of cultivation of various schools. It absorbs the spiritual energy of heaven and earth through the acupoints, replenishes itself, and directly cultivates the innate true energy. As for going astray, that is all normal. Directly absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into the body is the same theory as the immortal cultivation method. It meets Lin Bin's requirements. Lin Bin slowly flipped through the Eternal Life Secret while recalling the plot he had watched. Practicing the Eternal Life Secret is not simple, but it is definitely not difficult. The first element is that the signs of going astray are actually fake. People are confused by appearances and dare not go deeper, but in fact, if you force your way through, there will be no problem at all. The second element is just like the Yi Jinjing in Xian Long Beibu. You must break through the no person and no self before you can practice. Of course, there is no Buddhist saying about Taoist exercises. You must practice with an unintentional intention. Therefore, if you practice with intention, you will not succeed. The third is that there must be no signs of any true Kigen in the body. For Lin Bin, it seems that there is no problem. Unintentional intention. He didn't want to practice the Eternal Life Secret in the first place. He, Lin Bin, is a man destined to practice immortality. The Eternal Life Secret is just a temporary countermeasure for him. Although it is not unintentional, it is also very close. It's like Xuanglong was extremely eager to practice martial arts, but just didn't want to practice the Eternal Life Secret. But if they can succeed, Lin Bin will naturally succeed. I don't want to practice the Eternal Life Secret at all. I'm a man who wants to cultivate immortality, but there is really no other way. I can only wrong myself for the time being. Lin Bin tried to hypnotize himself in his heart and opened the first page of the Eternal Life Secret. He began to try to practice. From time to time, he also used the reincarnation table to check some common sense of cultivation, such as identifying tendons and veins. Because he had no foundation, the progress was indeed very slow. A day passed quickly. In the middle, Lin Zhu once quietly opened the door and took a look, as if she was worried that her brother would be hungry after not eating for a day, but seeing that his face was ruddy and he looked very healthy, she did not disturb him. The second day, the third day, Lin Bin had his own ambitions. Even if it was just a temporary replacement, he did not intend to practice only one page, but all 7 pages, step by step. During the process, various strange noises occurred frequently, or the whole body was hot, or the bones were itchy, or it felt like falling into a cold cave, or simply the weak true energy in the body was crazy and gathered everywhere, as if it was about to explode. All of these symptoms are precursors to going crazy. No matter how extraordinary and talented a warrior is, if he senses these conditions, he must stop immediately. But Lin Bin didn't care and just practiced page by page. This skill is not only practiced by Xuanglong, that is to say, it can also be practiced by normal means, as long as these most critical obstacles are overcome. The 4th day, the 5th day, Lin Zhu finally couldn't help but worry and pushed the wheelchair back to her hometown with difficulty to ask Zukayan. After not eating for 5 days, her face was still rosy and normal. This is too abnormal. Zukayan came specially, and she couldn't see any reason, but after contacting Raymond and learning about his exchange, she looked at Lin Bin with admiration. Could it be that he really cultivated something famous with a useless skill? It doesn't seem like it. She could only tell Lin Zhu not to disturb him, but just remember to help him open the window to allow air convection, and keep the air in the house unobstructed. Maybe he is living on the northwest wind? It was just a joke. Unexpectedly, it really came true. During this period, Lin Bin really lived on poverty. Chapter 24 The Gifted Abin. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. For a whole half a month, Lin Bin had been maintaining a meditation posture. But in his eyes, the whole world had become very different. There were countless tiny particles suspended around him, which were the spiritual energy, and they were inhaled into his mouth and nose with his breathing. Different colors brought different feelings. Warm, cold, delicate, or rough. In the plot, the two dragons practiced the 6th and 7th pages, and obtained the yin and yang skills respectively. Naturally, they could only absorb the spiritual particles in the air that matched themselves. But for Lin Bin, he practiced on the 7th page, and almost all the spiritual particles were his favorite. It was also through this practice method that he felt how rich the Yuanxing spiritual energy was now. It was just that it could not be used directly, so it became more and more full in the world until a gap was torn, causing the invasion of those world fragments. As more and more spiritual energy flowed in, the torn gap became larger and larger, until this fragment was completely embedded in the world. So this is the truth. Lin Bin murmured in his heart, feeling quite happy about his choice. With 7 pages of cultivation, he not only obtained the yin and yang attributes of the twin dragons, and the 7 pages of true ki have their own strengths. Gold, wood, water, fire, earth, yin, yang. 7 characteristics. Although the true ki is still very weak, these 7 characteristics can already be freely converted in his body, as if he has practiced 7 different attributes of cultivation at the same time. It is worthy of being an entry-level cultivation method. Lin Bin thought that the upper limit of martial arts is low. Indeed, the cultivation of martial arts to the extreme is nothing more than opening up mountains and rivers. Compared with the technological flow that destroys cities and countries at will, and the ability flow that changes the image of heaven and earth, the upper limit of martial arts is indeed much lower. But how to calculate the cultivation of immortals? I can outlast you just by enduring my lifespan. It's not that he can't perceive the outside world, but seeing that Lin Zhu handled it properly and didn't do anything radical, he stopped caring. And during Lin Bin's retreat, the second batch of reincarnations has also arrived in the zombie secret realm. The 6 reincarnationists who entered this time were not newbies like Lin Bin. They were extremely experienced. Under the leadership of the captain, the saint-level reincarnationist Cheyuji, they swept this secret place. The intelligence clearly stated that all the people within 100 miles of the entrance had been transformed into zombies. If they were not cleaned up, this entire world might eventually become a world of zombies. Once invaded, the entire China might be in danger of extinction. Therefore, they were extremely well prepared for this entry. Everyone carried glutinous rice, black dog blood, and inkstone. Under the operation of the national system, although it was only a few days, everyone had a 1,000-year-old peachwood sword. The weapons they held were also glutinous rice bullets that were as hard as steel after the glutinous rice powder was pressed to the extreme. As soon as they entered, the 6 people were surrounded by zombies. But they were well prepared for this world, and they swept it directly, watching those invulnerable zombies falling down like wheat being cut. Ha 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 ha, so satisfying, so satisfying. This mowing game is so much fun. Damn, according to intelligence, these zombies should be the lowest level of hairy zombies, but they are actually invulnerable. One of the reincarnations didn't believe it, and rushed into the enemy camp with a slender tang sword. Under the cover of his teammates, he took great pains to cut off the head of one of the zombies, but his knuckles were also numb from the shock. But when the peachwood sword pierced in, it was easy, as if the wooden sword was the one that could cut iron like mud, and the tang sword he bought at a high price was just a toy. He didn't dare to act recklessly anymore, but honestly took the sticky rice gun and started to clean up. He wasted a full third of the ammunition before he could completely clean up this wave of zombies that invaded. Seeing the sky gradually brighten. Okay, it's almost dawn. When the sun comes out, we'll take a good rest. Our mission this time is to kill a frontier royal zombie. This opponent sounds very powerful. Remember to keep enough ammunition. Understood. Everyone nodded. Sure enough, when the sun rose to the middle of the sky, the piled up zombies really emitted black smoke. These zombies are really afraid of the sun. It seems that the authenticity of the information is very real. Another extraordinary reincarnation leak has spread his hands and said, "This is the killing level secret realm. So the killing level secret realm means we can kill?" To be honest, this is the first time I have experienced a secret realm where killing is so enjoyable. Don't underestimate the killing level secret realm. As the team leader, Che-Yuji naturally does not allow the team members to have such a slack and contemptuous mind. The secret realm is extremely dangerous. If you are not careful, you will die. He said, "You can think about it. If you don't know any information, don't have sticky rice, don't have peach wood swords, don't have dog blood, nothing, and then come here." Everyone thought about it, thinking back to the fact that it was late at night when they arrived, with corpses surging, and fearless of death. They all shuddered. Che-Yuji reminded, "We took the credit for the intelligence. To be honest, this is my first time to play in a secret realm with such detailed intelligence. I made sufficient preparations and felt that the killing level secret realm was not as difficult as I imagined. But everyone must remember that no matter how difficult a secret realm is, once you have the intelligence, it will no longer be difficult. But the premise is that you have enough intelligence, otherwise don't be careless." Lee Ke said, "I heard that this information was obtained by an apprentice reincarnationist. He entered this secret realm under the circumstances you just mentioned, and completed the task with an A-level evaluation, and obtained a lot of information by the way." Che-Yuji sighed, "If you want to become a qualified reincarnationist, the first thing you need to learn is to understand one thing: there will always be reincarnationists stronger than us." What is the name of this reincarnationist? Abin? Really amazing. It would be great if I could keep entering the secret realm he has entered in the future. Another reincarnationist Zhao Zhao sighed sincerely. He has only entered this secret realm once, but he made it like this. It's so smooth for us to enter it again. Abin is really gifted. I have decided that if he can get such detailed information next time, I will definitely admire him. If you admire me, keep it for now. Anyway, since we know this information, we must remember to make good use of it after we get out. For now, we should focus on the current secret realm." Che-Yuji said, "We are safe during the day. Let's rest for 3 hours and then go to find this royal zombie." Yes. Everyone put down their weapons after hearing this, leaving one person to patrol. Everyone else closed their eyes and began to recover their energy. Only Che-Yuji took out his mobile phone and started editing the text content. As the captain, he needed to write down his experiences during his training and compile them into a book for later reincarnationists to learn from. But with Abin's information in front of him, he looked at the corpses on the ground but found that he had nothing to write. Finally, I can only say one thing. Abin is right. Chapter 25. Brave reincarnators, hurry up and embrace the legs. Please read and collect. A few days later, the first batch of reincarnationists in the real sense of the killing level dungeon, the zombie secret realm, successfully completed the task. They cleared the level without taking any damage. When they returned, there was a storm in almost the entire reincarnation forum. Fuck, this is impossible. A killing level secret realm actually achieved a no damage achievement? When the reincarnationists were recruited to enter this secret realm, didn't they say that this secret realm was very dangerous and must be handled quickly? And they cleared the level so easily and even got a B-level evaluation? Isn't this equivalent to getting a complete task reward? B-level merit or something? I'm so envious. Why did I refuse this invitation in the first place? Hateful. Jealousy makes me split apart. It feels like the easiest killing level secret realm in history has been born. Coach, I want to enter the zombie secret realm now. Oh. In the forum, the reincarnations spoke out one after another, expressing their envy of these reincarnations who received a B-level evaluation. If the B-level killing secret realm is rated above B, you can obtain complete B-level merits, and the B-level merits are enough to make a reincarnationist instantly upgrade his weapon and double his strength. It is no wonder that many reincarnationists reacted so strongly. You know, since the killing level secret realm is called killing level, its difficulty is naturally extremely high, and the probability of successfully passing the level is extremely low. It is also common for all members to fail and be wiped out. Even if you really succeed in passing the level, you have to pay a high price. Almost every birth of a killing level secret realm makes all high level reincarnationists tremble with fear. Especially this time the secret realm is opened in the downtown area, which means that its priority far exceeds all other reincarnation spaces. Therefore, for the zombie secret realm, regardless of the level, almost all reincarnationists pay great attention. As a result, this secret realm, which was said to be extremely dangerous, ended in a way that was almost anticlimactic. You know, having received 2B level evaluations in a row, this means that this secret realm has been severely contained twice. At least in the next year, there is no need to worry about any accidents happening in this secret realm. Cheyuji, everyone should not be careless. In fact, the difficulty of this killing level secret realm is almost one of the top 3 in terms of danger among all the killing level secret realms I have encountered. If any colleague goes to this secret realm in the future, remember to be careful. You must know that carelessness can easily lead to death. The real owner actually took the initiative to speak out. Lilei, the boss has shown up. Are you still missing some accessories for your thighs? The kind that can move and act cute. Asterisk. Oh Cheyuji, don't say that. In fact, we are just lucky. The main reason is that the intelligence is detailed. We almost got all the enemy's weaknesses and how to deal with them before entering the secret realm. After entering, we naturally killed everyone. It is understandable that there were no casualties. In fact, if there were really casualties, we would be too useless. He who looks too handsome dies quickly. I hope you are just being humble and polite, even if you are being pretentious, and it is not really the case otherwise. I will cry. They found me before and invited me to enter this secret realm, but I was scared when I heard it was a ghost type secret realm. I was shamefully scarido. Oh. Cheyuji, sorry, but this is the fact. The main reason is that the strategy this time is too detailed. It feels like anyone can pass it easily. If you are too handsome, you will die quickly. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to the turtles chanting. Woo woo. Some reincarnations also paid attention to the meaning behind Cheyuji's words. The head of the Widow village, I heard that this secret realm was misunderstood as an ordinary secret realm at the beginning, so there was only one extraordinary reincarnation with a newcomer, and the 2 of them passed it without any injuries? And they also got a lot of detailed information? So you passed the killing level secret realm? Cheyuji, in fact, it was not a smooth pass. One of the reincarnations was bitten on the leg by those zombies and almost died. The head of the Widow village. Oh. It turns out that they are not as powerful as I thought. I was shocked when I first heard this information. After all, he is a newcomer, so you can't ask too much. He was just bitten in the killing level secret realm, which is actually very remarkable. That's right, I wet my pants when I entered the reincarnation space for the first time. They entered the killing level for the first time, which is much more difficult than us. As a newcomer, it's enough to not be a drag. If I were that newcomer, I would hide quietly until the end of the training. It doesn't matter if I'm judged to be idle. It's pitiful for a newcomer to enter the killing secret realm. Don't laugh at him. By the way, what's the name of that extraordinary reincarnationist? Cheyuji, it should be Lei Jun. In the future, you can get closer to him. Add him as a friend tomorrow and ask about the inside story of this killing secret realm. Maybe it will be useful someday. At the very least, it's okay for everyone to make friends. If everyone enters the same secret realm, it will be a great benefit to make a good relationship. Everyone immediately started to discuss. To outsiders, reincarnationists are powerful and noble. But within the reincarnation, they follow the law of the jungle more. The strong prey on the weak, and the strong are always respected. Especially those who can pass the killing secret realm as a mere extraordinary reincarnationist. Cheyuji hesitated for a moment, looking at the many reincarnationists in the forum who were all promoting Lei Jun's awesomeness and wanting to make friends with the big guy. After all, he still didn't explain clearly that the one who was bitten was actually the extraordinary reincarnation Lei Jun, and the one who passed the level without injury was the newcomer Abin. The information of the exclusive secret realm can only be read by the reincarnationists who have obtained the entry permission. So as the reincarnationist selected this time, he understood the meaning behind this information. Abin is a talent. if he enters the secret realm again in the future, as long as he finds a way to investigate which new secret realms Abin has opened up, and then keeps an eye on his name. Wouldn't it mean that they can obtain the most detailed information before entering? This is the consensus reached by the 6 reincarnationists in the secret realm. It's not that they are selfish. Abin is so amazing, his reputation will definitely spread soon, and they just want to get as much blessing from this pioneering god as possible. You will go at Lei Jun, I'll add Abin quietly. Although Cheyuji is honest, he obviously has his own petty thoughts. HU. Beishu City. In a private room in a bustling hotel, Lei Jun followed Lin Bin's joke and invited Lin Bin to dinner in the bustling hotel. The two people who were sitting opposite each other and chatting and drinking couldn't help but sneeze several times in succession. Strange, what's going on with this coldness? Lei Jun said in surprise. I don't catch a cold even when swimming in winter in the coldest days of winter. Why do I suddenly feel so cold in such a hot day? It's as if a deep malice has surrounded me. Forget it, ignore him. Abin, I heard that you have decided on the route of strengthening. Lin Bin wolfed down his food in big mouthfuls. He answered vaguely, martial arts route. Oh, martial arts, although the upper limit is a bit low, but with the help of props, it is not weaker than other professions, and when you reach the limit, you can take the opportunity to switch to other routes. At that time, there will be more possibilities. For others, dual cultivation will cost a lot of reincarnation points, but for you, it must be easy to earn reincarnation points. Lei Jun has full confidence in Lin Bin. Well, there are plans to switch to other systems in the later stage. Lin Bin responded casually, which was also the truth. By the way, I heard from Big Brother that you spent a lot of money to exchange for a technique that cannot be practiced. How do you feel about the effect? It's okay, it's just the level of a normal technique. It's a bit exaggerated to say that it can't be practiced. Of course, it's a bit exaggerated to say how strong it is. That's true. Lei Jun comforted him. Don't be too discouraged. It's okay if it works. After all, it must have its unique features to be ranked as a B-level technique by the reincarnation space. Work hard. I'm still waiting for you to become a super level reincarnationist and then find you to team up. Lin Bin said, to be honest, I also want to continue to team up with you, brother Lei. He said this sincerely. After all, in the real world, a solid meat shield, no, a qualified mount is really rare. The two smiled at each other and felt a sense of mutual appreciation. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.